gonna call the meeting right now. Thank you for coming out and being with us tonight. I'd like to welcome all you that's here. Thank you for coming. And I know it's hot, and we're gonna try to get up out of here and get back, and we're gonna try to stay cool as we can, okay? All right. We'll have the prayer by Ms. Lever. Oh, Heavenly Father, we come tonight thanking you for this beautiful day, oh Heavenly Father. Right now, Lord, we need your Holy Spirit with us. We need to be able to think and to do the right thing, to think of things that we think that you would want us to think about and how we would want to move in different policies. But, oh Heavenly Father, we just want you to be with us in our minds and in our hearts as we decide what we need to do for these teachers and children and the building itself. Oh Heavenly Father, just be with us. And these 9 people up here to do the right thing. We want these 9 people to understand that everybody has an idea. And ideas are good, but sometimes they may not be for the better of the teacher or the child. But oh Heavenly Father, we just ask for you to be with us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I had a couple of comments about the agenda. I was looking through my packet, and there are several things on the agenda that there was nothing there for. Doesn't our policy state that if you're gonna add something to the agenda, there has to be a summary of some kind?
It just states information will be provided. It doesn't state it has to be, but it says it will be.
We've got several things on there that undoubtedly nothing has been provided to me. So it's kind of like, hey, you come to the meeting and it's a surprise. We're talking about this and this and this and this. But we don't know where the motion is headed.
Ms. Leverett and I meet before the meeting to discuss the agenda, and we talk about those items. Are there certain items that you're referring to, or?
Yes, and I left my packet in the car.
You may have been thinking about the original one.
Have we taken?
Yeah, we've
Okay.
adjusted it.
I didn't see an adjustment. What was the adjustment?
I forgot what Ms. Lever wanted to
Under
make.
the superintendent's report, these items are discussed, and so in the board packet that you received, we did not have any information. We had information for the monthly financial reports. That was sent in the email to you all. And then there is the administrative rule for the school meal accounts and charges, but we don't have anything for student screen time, Educator Assistance Act, or employee survey.
Yeah. So are we just adding things in because somebody wanted to discuss it?
The way it was presented to me, a board member emailed myself and Ms. Leverett and asked for those items. He requested those items to be on the agenda, and we discussed it with Ms. Leverett.
So I know it's too late to change anything, and I'm not asking that we change the agenda. But in the future, if we want to add something to the agenda, could there at least be a brief explanation of what we're gonna be discussing and why that person wanted it added to the agenda? Is that too much to ask?
Sound good to me?
Madam Leverett, Ms. Leverett, I'd be happy to speak to that. I think you're talking about those 3 items I'd asked to be on there. C, D, and E, Screen Time, Educator Assistance Act, and Employee Survey, Future Work Session. Yeah, I've got information I am happy to provide. I brought that with me. It is under superintendent's report for discussion items. It is not
And
an action
don't-
item.
Don't take this, I don't disagree with discussing it, but what I didn't have time to look at that, know what we were gonna talk about, or which way we're headed with the discussion, because there was nothing in the packet.
In
I'm
other
just
words-
asking that,
In other words, you would like to see a reason we're listening is on there.
yeah.
Pro or con?
Instead of getting here and say, oh, surprise, just a little bit of explanation as to where the discussion is gonna head, what we're discussing.
That's not a problem at all. As a matter of fact, while we're on the agenda, well, you hadn't called, did you call for the agenda?
Yeah,
You
I did.
approved yet?
We're
Okay.
calling for approval.
The student, because I sent those in, I sent it in advance of getting the full, of course, before getting the full agenda. So in light of all the things that we have tonight, I was going to scratch student screen time, C, and just bring that up next time. I just had some information to share in regard to screen time and Educator Assistance Act. I have some to share. I do want to go over that. That's a new law that we're implementing. It was passed last year, but this year. And then the employee survey is just simply trying to find a date, working on a date to get us to talk about when we can work on that.
I think as a board, since we're discussing the agenda, if there's something we as a board could agree upon to shorten our meetings a little bit. You know, to get out of here at 11 o'clock is just crazy in my book. If we can't discuss it in 3 hours, we probably should put it off to the next meeting, in my opinion.
I will assure you that if we take off C and do D and E, we're talking about 6 or 7 minutes for 2 items. Well, that doesn't include discussion, if we get into a long discussion about when we could have a work session for the employee survey, but my part of it would be 5 or 6, 7 minutes.
And, you know, then you've got to have everybody else getting at least 5 to 6 or 7 minutes if they wanted to discuss it. So, if you had an outline of what you wanted to say that we could maybe look over in advance, still have your time, but maybe it would shorten our questions.
Sure. Point well taken.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
While we're still on the agenda, however, Ms. Leverett, like we did last year, it was on the agenda for our employee bonus package, which is under executive session. This time last year, it was also an executive session. I'd like to make a motion, or I would like to request that we move that into open session, simply because I don't think it qualifies for executive session and, you know, just for the sake of transparency.
Second.
Do I need to
Second
make
it.
a motion on that?
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Point of order, Madam Chair. The Honorable Mr. Dukes has taken time to discuss why he requested certain items, and we've agreed, point well taken. But I think at this particular time, we are only asking for approval or disapproval of the agenda. Now, if we want to go into discussion and elucidate on some of these particular items, then we need to wait until we at least approve the said and presented agenda.
Or either wait till we get to the executive.
I think it's in order if he wants to move it, if
Yep.
there is agreement to decide whether you want to move it into regular session or not. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'd like to make a subsequent motion that we move returning employee bonus package into open session.
Let me make a suggestion. We may want to get through some other stuff before we address that. Just come out of light this afternoon
Mhm.
late.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest
Till
we're getting a horse before the cart.
Yeah, because we're talking about giving out money and having money taken away that we just found out about, so.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
can I request that somebody clarify the motion that's on the table regarding the agenda?
The motion is to move.
The motion is to move the
Compensation.
compensation up to now and not do it in the,
That is
Are you
not the
moving?
motion
Open
on the
session.
floor.
Do it
The
open.
motion on the floor is to approve,
Items or when?
Point of order.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. We trying to get this straight, what he wants.
I would make it, actually, I'd make it,
Item H.
or do we need to hear about it sooner? When are we gonna hear from Ms. Hurd in regard to the money? I think those two could go hand in hand
She can talk at the monthly financial report, she can ask her questions at that time.
about the money that we just got word about.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's under superintendent's report. Can we make it before A? Make it first?
That we got some information about. We is who? Because your chair here,
Miss-
Sandra Leverett, hadn't gotten that. So I don't understand what we.
Yes, ma'am.
We just
We
got it.
received late this afternoon some updated information from the Anderson County Board of Education, a reduction of our millage. And so we sent, as soon as we got that information, we sent an email out to the board letting them know that. So yes, ma'am, we did send an email. But it was late in the afternoon, so it was right before the meeting. Yes, ma'am.
The motion is whether or not you want to move it to, before item 6. So, you can vote on whether or not you want to move it or not. So that would be an amendment, so you ask it.
But is that not a basically contractual issue when we're discussing pay? That's why we're deleting the executive session. I mean,
That's
we
why it
vote
was
in
an
open
executive
session.
session for
We
compensation.
vote in open session, but that's compensation. It always stays in executive session, then we vote on it in open session.
I would like to
Madam-
keep it there.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'd just like to respond to that. When we're talking about compensation, generally, when it's in executive session, it's in regard to a person or maybe one position, but this is a group, just like when we come out and we vote for a group, so it's a group of people, the entire district, as a matter of fact. So personally, I do not think it qualifies for executive session. And we moved it last year.
So anything we discuss in open session, all of the documents are available to the public. When are they available? They're available the first time they're submitted to the school district. So what would stop one of these other competitors of coming in and finding out what one had, one bid was as compared to the other bid?
We're talking about employee bonus package, what the bonus we would give to employees.
I was thinking we were talking about the last one on the thing, the discussion and the negotiation for the contract.
Employee.
This is B, correct?
It is B, correct, returning employee bonus package B.
Should we vote on whether to add this or not?
Hold on one second.
I think for transparency, it would be good to have it in the open session.
I disagree. It's still, we're talking about money and employees. Transparency when we vote on it, I mean, that's in open. I mean, I ain't got no problem with that, but it's still, we're talking about compensation, and that's a contractual issue to me.
And when we're talking about compensation, we're talking about somebody's money that they're getting.
That's the way I perceive it.
And I think that should be in executive session when we are talking, in my opinion. When we get ready to vote, are we ready to vote?
Mr. Thompson has a question.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add that when we discussed cost of living adjustments for the employees of the district, it was all done in public session. This is no different. And last year, we moved the employee bonus discussion from executive session to open session. So this is no different than all the discussion we had in open session about cost of living adjustments for the entire district.
I mean.
But we did have a lot of discussion about the amounts, if we were gonna be able to do it and all that, cause there's a lot of things to go through. I mean, I don't care one way or the other, but I just feel like you're breaking contract, when you're breaking protocol, when we've discussed that in executive on how I mean, if we're gonna even do bonuses. I mean, that's something we have to wait on everything and sit and discuss it and, come up with an amount, and we vote on it in open session.
Just have a vote on whether you do or don't want to do it and let the board.
The people do appreciate the transparency, though.
It's transparent when we vote on it, Ms. Burris.
Okay, we were on, the, agenda, so we now,
Vote on whether to amend it or not.
whether to amend this agenda or not.
Those in favor of amending the agenda.
Those in favor of amending this agenda, raise your hand.
I think Mr. Zug had a comment.
I just want to make sure we're clarifying what we're amending. All this vote is for, all this motion is for is to move the bonuses from executive session to, this is not taking off student screen time, educator, assistant, employee. This is just to move the bonus. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
For D,
B.
B, returning employee bonus package.
Correct.
Those in favor of moving it to executive, to regular session, raise your hand. You have 4. Those that do not want to move it, raise your hand. You have 5.
Barbara, did you want item C? You mentioned item C, Trill, did you?
I'll just go for.
If there's no
I'll just
further
forego that
comments, then the
when I get
agenda
there.
is
Okay.
approved. Hearing none, agenda is approved and presented unanimously with the votes that we have. Okay, opportunity for citizens to address the board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is, y'all know, Cynthia Wanzer.
Yes,
And
I
until the
know.
end of this past school year, I was Anderson School District 5's only full-time elementary STEM teacher, a position that was eliminated. I'm not here tonight to relitigate that decision. I'm here because the data since then makes the case for bringing STEM back even stronger than it was. Just this May, the South Carolina legislature passed and Governor McMaster signed the South Carolina STEM Opportunity Act. I mentioned this act one of the times when I was first here speaking. It has created a statewide STEM coalition and a dedicated STEM education fund in the state treasury. Our own state government just decided STEM is important enough to build new infrastructure around it. Meanwhile, District 5 moved in the opposite direction and eliminated its only full-time elementary STEM position and a part-time position. The timing matters for another reason. Last fall, the nation's report card showed 8th grade science scores had fallen to their lowest level since NAEP started testing science in 2009. Those students were in elementary school during the pandemic, which means the gap opened at exactly the grade level that we have now stopped supporting. The same report found the share of students doing hands-on scientific inquiry regularly dropped, and student interest in science fell right along with it. Elementary is where curiosity about science either takes root or gets lost. We're going to see the cost of losing it. And this just isn't about test scores. A University of South Carolina workforce forecast projects our state could be short 114,000 STEM workers by 2030. Nationally, STEM jobs are projected to grow nearly 3 times faster than non-STEM jobs over the next decade, and they pay on average twice as much. Anderson County has real manufacturing and technology employers who will need that pipeline of skilled workers. And that pipeline starts in elementary classrooms, not in high school career centers. I understand budget concerns and hard choices had to be made, but I'd ask the board to see this differently. Elementary STEM isn't an enrichment activity competing with core instruction. It's workforce development for Anderson County that starts years before graduation. And right now, the state is investing in it while we have stepped back. My ask tonight is simple. As the board begins to review and create next year's budget, please look at restoring elementary STEM in some capacity. Our students and our local employers are counting on it. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
That concludes the committee, the opportunity for public comment. Superintendent's report.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. You all received the monthly financial reports on July 16th. Do you all have any questions for Ms. Hurd? Okay. Would you all like Ms. Hurd to give an update of the information we received this afternoon? It was around 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yes,
All right, so
please.
Ms. Hurd, if you would please come and give an update that was shared by Susan Benninger from the Anderson County Board of Education.
Dr.
Kelly, Madam Chair, members of the board, good evening. This afternoon, right around 3:30, we received an email from Ms. Benninger and the county board with an attachment to the Anderson County Auditor, Mr. Binka, showing what the county board had approved for each of the 5 districts' millage rates to be. When we reviewed that information, it was different from what we presented to the county board during the budget process. So part of the budget process, you guys get the information that we do share with the board, the packet that we share with them. One of the things that we share in there is our millage rate over the last 3 to 5 years. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly. Now I believe it's the last 3 years that we show, and they ask, are we asking for millage? So our comment was, no, we are not asking for millage, we're asking for the millage rate to stay the same. So for us, the last 3 years, that had been 191 meals. And so that was what we thought had been approved when they approved our budget, with the one caveat that they did make during the budget process to exclude the board compensation being approved in our budget. So we have been moving forward with the expectation of our millage being 191 meals. According to today's email that was received that we did send out, it was probably around 4:45 or close to 5 o'clock. By the time I had talked to Dr. Kelly and we had gathered all the information from talking to different districts and looking at things that we could provide you with an update. So the 5.7 mil decrease, if you're looking at the millage rate, is anywhere between 1.5 and 1.6 million dollars that the district would not receive based on how we are currently calculating our millage. So we are in the process. Again, this was really quick information this afternoon. We had no heads up that this was coming. Again, I think all of the districts made the assumption that when we did not ask for millage, that the same millage rate from the previous year would be used. We all understand that the auditor does set our debt millage rate, looking at our debt calculation payments for what we have. For Anderson 5, we have no new debt coming on or rolling off, so we expect ours to stay fairly flat there. But we did not see this millage decrease coming from the county board as of this afternoon. That is really kind of where we are right now. That will not impact the year that we just finished, fiscal year 26-27. That is for the current year for the tax bills that will go out in October. I am just received some conversation, still looking at this. Folks are beginning to watch the live meeting from them last night to look at the calculations. We have asked for the calculations to see how they come up with that, but we don't have any of that information yet. So we're trying to exactly figure out how they came up with their calculation to determine that the school district needed to lose 5.7 mils.
And I'm correct, Ms. Hurd, I know I ask you this probably every other meeting, our debt millage is some of the lowest in the state, one of the lowest in the state,
Yes, it is.
and by far the lowest in the county.
Yes, a lot, by a lot,
And districts that have higher debt millage didn't get their budget cut.
correct.
The math doesn't add up to me.
It's all in a budgeting. I think the way that we budget and the way that the county board looks at the collection rate versus the way that districts 3, 4, and 5 look at the collection rate, and some conservative ways that we have.
Well,
But again,
it
we
almost
haven't
makes me,
asked.
it almost makes me like we're being singled out because we're being conservative with our money, because we know we've got some, big budget coming of things that have to be done, and we're trying to do this without any kind of bond referendum or anything else to save the taxpayers' money long-term. But I think those in charge don't realize that's what we're doing. We're not asking.
And when you cut it one year, that is a multiple effect. So it's
Yeah.
not that they just, this is not a one-time cut, like it hit fund balance. You lose that 1.5 million this year, you lose that 1.5 million going forward that we were anticipating getting. The county board does not know what business may come or leave Anderson 5. So they are using a projection right now, that could fluctuate with businesses coming or going. As you know, during our budget process, we added $1 million onto our ad valorem tax line without increasing our budget, and that was due to the growth. So we are not ignoring that Anderson 5 is growing, and we are adding it to the budget. But I would say that is a conservative number, the million. We, you know, I feel like now we should have said, we're gonna get $2 million, and hope we get it, and they would have left us at 191. So I feel like they're setting up the school districts to now project 100% of our ad valorem collection, which is not realistic, to then in turn not collect it, but just for the county board to set the millage as to where we expected it to be set.
Is
So
it,
I feel like for the year that we're in, for 26, 27, I don't know what we can do right now that we've lost 1.6, 1.7 million, except for hope that growth occurs during this school year to offset that.
is
But
it,
it will impact next year's budget grossly for you guys. Yes,
is it
Councilman.
possible that they may have made a mistake?
One of the districts has emailed me tonight that they watching it and that they feel like their calculation is incorrect. So I will be watching that meeting as soon as I have the availability to see what numbers they're using for Anderson 5, to see if there could potentially be some incorrect information. I have reached out to the county auditor as well, but again, that was probably after 5 o'clock and he had left. So I'm sure he'll get back as soon as he can with me.
All right.
This is the first time that this has happened in my 20 years here. Typically, we go to the county board, we share all of the information, and they ask, are you asking for millage or not asking for millage? We share the millage rate that we've calculated everything on, and they have used that number. So this is new for all of us. Again, it's not all 5 districts, but it is 3 of the 5 districts. Districts 3, 4, and 5, all were impacted. And those 3 districts, in their operating millage, have the career center that is a part of that as well. The other 2 districts have that pulled out. So they can use all of their millage that they get just for their school districts. We are working with a career center that has all 3 as well as our operating. So we have another unique situation that goes along into that. We put about $3.1 million into AIT. The other districts put a lot of money into AIT as well.
Well,
You know,
and I have voiced that, my opinion on the way here via text message to the county board members.
So
That
it's-
we 3, 4, and 5 support our own career CS, doesn't have its own standalone budget like 1 and 2. I don't know that they're aware of that,
Right.
but they need to be.
Because that is extra millage in districts 1 and 2 that goes directly to that school system. So it stays out of Anderson 1 and 2 operating millage. For us, we have another whole system that we're running inside of our operating millage. So not only are you impacting districts 3, 4, and 5, you're also impacting Anderson Institute of Technology, and the 3 districts may have to get together and figure out what the cuts will be inside of our district and what the cuts will be to AIT, where the 2 districts that have separate career centers that have millage that funds those didn't have their operating millage cut. And they don't oversee the Anderson 1 and 2 career center millage. That's done by the county delegation. So just a little bit of a shock to us today, something new that we have not seen. We are still gathering information, but we wanted you to know that it's between a $1.5, $1.6 million decrease in revenue than from what we had anticipated receiving.
So, Ms. Hurd, just to boil it down, to help me understand it, the net effect of this is 1.5 million short. We're
Yes.
out of balance, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
So is your recommendation that we just proceed into the year and just see what happens? Maybe we get some income that we weren't expecting, or, because right now we came out at the end of last year in the positive, correct? Okay,
Yes.
so
That
it's not
was-
like we're gonna move any money out of fund balance to balance it.
That's what I mentioned to Dr. Kelly earlier, that my recommendation would be, let's just move forward and growth. If Anderson 5 receives growth, that it will take care of some of that. If we get some additional revenue in some other places, it will take care of that. And if we don't, then it may be that you have to ask for millage just to get back to where we were to start with. I hate that, you know, I don't think that that's what the board wants to do. That's why we were trying to be very conservative and keep the millage flat. But if the board sees that we need the extra 1.5 million, then of no fault of your own, you would have to go to the taxpayers and ask just to get the money back that we should have had to start with.
And this is, like, to me, a slap in the face, hard as 9 board members that are not paid have worked so hard on a budget to keep the taxpayers from having to have any tax increase. This is thrown in after the game, after, change rules after the game started, and we have worked tirelessly on this.
I wish they had told us that they were doing this during the budget
It-
process
Yeah,
last
it'd
June.
been easier, yeah, it'd been a lot easier
Yeah,
then.
we would have at least
At least you
known.
know where you stand.
When
Yeah.
did they receive our numbers?
We had to have them by June the 9th, 10th. They wanted them like early June, and then we had to give them the final. I told them that we couldn't give them the final till the board approved it through second reading. They had preliminary numbers they had preliminary numbers the day of graduation, because I wasn't able to attend graduation for making sure they
May
had
21st.
everything to them in early May, or I'm sorry, May 22nd. And then, but they had to have everything completely finalized by the school board on May 9th. So that's when everything was provided to them at that
And
point,
when did y'all make your presentation?
the
to them?
15th
Of,
June. And they
So-
approved it that night.
so they had 2 weeks basically to look over everything before they voted.
Yes.
And then they voted to approve it. And now, just all of a sudden, they changed their mind.
Yes. Yeah, if they had have just even given us a heads up, we could have been working to communicate with them, to share, how we come up with the calculation that we do. For example, one of the things is I was talking to the auditor at one of our meetings that we have monthly, quarterly, depending on what time of the year it is. And he was telling me that one of the new state laws, they're gonna give a credit. It might even be the boat law. I can't remember right now exactly which one it is, but it might be the boat tax. And so when the county auditor sends us our assessments each month, each school district and each municipality, we get that from the auditor each month. That's how we can run that with our millage to estimate what our property taxes is gonna be. He said, we're not gonna change assessment. We're gonna give them a credit. He said, so your assessments are really higher than what you're gonna receive. We even mentioned that to Ms. Benninger and some county board members, as in, if you're looking at the assessments to do these calculations, remember the auditor has said these are too high because of the way the state law was written. It's gonna be a credit on your taxes, just like Act 388 is. When you look at your tax bill up at the top, it shows what Anderson 5 would get if you had to pay taxes, but you get a credit. This is the same thing. I believe it is the boat taxes, but I need to verify that with Mr. Binko when I talk to him. That the assessment is staying on the books, but you're getting a credit. So they're running numbers off of the assessment, and we're not gonna get that money on that assessment that they're looking at. So if we had have known that they were thinking about these things, we could have been having those conversations as well to at least get him to communicate with them about that.
One more thing, I promise I'll shut up.
Sure.
District 5 is not paid for their SROs by the state.
We have one.
One.
today.
How about districts 1 and 2? They're paid for by the state?
I don't think all of them are. Anderson County as a whole.
As a whole.
Is very, very light on what the state pays for their SROs.
Okay.
I don't know, District 3 is with the town of Iva. They don't have any Anderson County, but District 1 and 2 would have Anderson County SROs. They do have some by the state, but I don't know exactly how many, but we can get that information.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Quick question. Has the district obtained a legal opinion from our attorney about whether there could be legal problems with
Yes,
what?
I called our legal, our attorney, your attorney, and I have forwarded the information that was shared with me with the attachment that Ms. Hurd was referring to, so she is reviewing it right now.
I'd like to make a motion that the board direct the administration to draft a letter to the Anderson County Board of Education and the Anderson County legislative delegation detailing how this has affected us, and that I think if the board agrees that we're displeased with the timing and so forth.
I'll second that motion, Bill.
That sounds good.
Do we need,
Is there any objection to it? I don't have any objection. If there's none, then the motion is approved.
thank you,
And
Mr.
who's
Thompson.
gonna write this up?
The superintendent
Okay,
will work on that,
superintendent
yeah.
will do.
You want me to write it up?
I'll let
It'll,
you all
it'll,
read.
it'll be in star English, let me put it that way.
Be censored.
B, 6B, AREFU ASD5 student meal account and charges.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. This is administrative rule, and I'm gonna ask Mr. Kavanaugh if he'll come forward so he can discuss with you. You have the administrative rule in your packet. Anything in red is things that are added to the administrative rule. Anything that is struck through, those are the things that are being, asked to be deleted. Again, administrative rule does not take a vote, so we just wanted to keep you updated what we're changing in the administrative rule. Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly, Madam Chairman of the Board. Basically, these are just administrative changes. Our point of service, point of sale system was purchased 3 different times in the last 3 years, and our website for receiving payments changed all 3 times. So we just decided to just be more vague and have our folks just go to the website. That way, if it gets bought out again, the information will be easier for us to update. We removed all the information about free and reduced meal applications because Anderson 5 is now a CEP-wide district, so that information was no longer necessary. And we just summarized the meal charge system language because we don't have to charge meals because all of our kids currently eat for free. So we just put in a little snippet there that says that second meals are not free. You gotta pay for those. So, and then we changed the word meal to culinary related because it just sounds cool.
One quick, could you explain to those that are watching what CEP means?
A CEP is the community eligibility provision, and for school districts that have a certain level of direct certification for free and reduced students, the entire district can opt to be free
Okay, thank you.
for all children.
Thank you.
So,
Also, with mine being in the school district, if they want an extra meal, I have to have it in their
Account.
account.
Or in
yes, ma'am.
hand.
They'll have to have money in their account or cash in their pocket, or a checkbook if anybody wants their checkbook.
And that's for an extra meal and snacks.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
They're still getting their food, but this is extra that they want.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Student screen time.
Yes, Madam Chair, again, this is just for the board's information. I wanted to talk about, I'm sorry, student screen time. I'm gonna bypass that, for sake of time. So, we could perhaps carry it forward till the next meeting, so I'll make that request.
Okay, now, hold up. The screen time, you don't wanna talk about it now.
Well,
He's making-
I'm certainly prepared to. However, in light of, and I mentioned that earlier, in light of the agenda that we have, I'll be happy to waive that one.
You're gonna waive it, but you wanna put it back on for next month?
I would like to have it, yes.
And that
So I think the
explains.
proper motion would be to postpone to the next meeting. Yes,
I didn't get it.
Postpone.
to the next meeting.
Postpone to the next meeting. Is there any objections for that?
I think we have to have a motion
I'll
and a
make that.
second.
I'll make the motion to move screen time to
Second.
the next meeting, postpone till next meeting.
Second.
So it's approved, it has been second.
Was
Is
that
there
not
any
necessary?
discussion?
For information,
Question.
Madam Chair, for information. I think he was gonna explain to me, do we need to get a second on that?
You
or-
can use unanimous consent if there's no objection. If anybody objects and you want to vote, then you should have a motion, a second, and a vote.
We didn't have any objections, so I guess
So
unanimous
Well,
there's
consent
no
hold on,
would
hold on.
suffice.
I might have a
Sorry.
question. What's the reasoning for now amending this agenda to not? What's the reason behind the motion?
My motion?
Yeah.
It's just to save time, honestly. As I look across, and here we are belaboring it, but as I look across what we have to discuss tonight, I mean, it's only 5 or 6 minutes from my side, and be happy to move it. Screen time is the purpose of doing it tonight would have been, we're about to kick off the school year, just to make the board aware of some things. Done some research on screen time, hopefully, the board and the administration, I know you're trying to reduce screen time, and I just wanted to share some things, but I'd be happy to do that at next meeting.
Mr. Dukes, could you email us or give us whatever,
And I will.
that way when we review it.
I'll make sure that the information's in the packet.
I mean, I think everybody has a concern over it, really,
Yeah,
truly.
yeah. it's a state focus. I know I've seen several things on other districts that are making it a board focus, so I'll be happy to include that in the packet next month.
And Madam Chair, as Mr. Dukes was saying, we have been actively working on this for over a month, and Ms. Elrod has had her team with teachers meet this week to discuss screen time, what that looks like, recommendations for the classroom. So all of that information can be presented next month as well for you all.
Okay.
No objections, moving this.
If it's no objections, it's moved to next month.
I object.
You object?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So hold the vote. Those in
Hold
favor-
vote. We'll
those
have
in
to
favor,
vote.
move it.
Those in favor of moving it to August, raise your hand. That looks like it's unanimous.
No.
One opposed.
Well, two is not, two.
Two opposed.
Two opposed,
Teacher transfer.
move to next month, August. Okay, the next thing was the,
Educator.
Assistant act.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, that was another,
Okay, but let's get this straight tonight. Let's get this straight tonight. Because under this, Brian, on our agenda, it says superintendent's report. None of this superintendent has done with this. This is our, Mr. Duke's doing. So tonight, right now, we are at Education Assistant Act. And next time, August, when we do the agenda, I'm gonna need all these things. I want you to tell me what you want on that agenda, what we're going to talk about, and everything that needs to be. Not just passing it out to me to read now.
yes.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, and this, of course, did go to the planning committee, the agenda committee, so that was approved to be on there, so I'll be happy to do that. But this is the Educator Assistance Act, just wanted to make you aware of it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's get, I wanna get an understanding, because that's what I need to do. I need to understand what's going on. The topic was sent to us.
Correct.
But I don't remember reading what you want us to look at. I need to be able to have read that, to understand that, and to call you to ask you if I have any problem with it, or if I understand it or not. Being that I am the chair. Okay?
Would have
So
been-
we-
Yes, ma'am, would have been happy to provide that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the Educator Assistance Act, and actually it's a memo from the State Department to district and superintendents and personnel administrators. The Educator Assistance Act is more than just what I'm going to present. This specific memo is related to the 10 pre-service days. For those of you, I think I explained this at the last meeting. Of course, a teacher teaches, has a 190-day contract. They teach children 180, so that leaves 10 for either professional learning or work days. And this is specifically to those 10 days. So I'm going to just hit very briefly those 3 bullets that you see about those 10 days. The first one says 4 of the 10 days must be designated for collegial professional development. We always do that during the year and also before the year. The bullet number 2 is at least 2 days must be designated as staff work days for the preparation of opening of schools. On these days, teachers and instructional assistants must be afforded time that is self-directed and free from assigned meetings or training in order to evaluate student academic data, to plan and prepare instructional materials and classroom spaces for the start of the school year. And then the last one is the remaining 4 days may be used for teacher planning, academic plans, and parent conferences. Probably the most important paragraph is the legislative intent of this section is for educators and instructional assistants to receive 2 days before the start of the school year, free from assigned meetings, including meet and greet events or required district professional development. And really, the point I want to make is those 2 days that is now being legislated, it's really a wake-up call, I think, to school districts and to the board, our board and other boards, that if we have to legislate 2 days that teachers get before pre-service unencumbered, that just is an indication of an issue we have that's statewide, probably nationally. And it all gets back to teacher well-being. So let me just boil down this issue. As long as I can remember, and I've known teachers and assistants who would go to school before the beginning of school. It was very, it's very admirable that people do that, that teachers do that. When I was a principal, get a call, can I get in my room? Sure, come on. And that's happened ever since I can remember. My parents were both teachers, so I can say that. But at some point, I think, and this is just my opinion, that when you have good, considerate teachers to come in and staff to come in beforehand, at some point, I don't know if administrators thought, well, they're going to come in anyway, they're going to get that done, and we're going to use these, it used to be 5 days for professional, 5 days pre-service, and it seems like those just keep getting filled up and filled up. When I was here, I tried to always make sure that our teachers were uninterrupted at least for a day or a day and a half. Now we have 6 pre-service days. So, you know, it really boils down to, I don't want us to appear as we're taking people for granted. That we're going to have good people that come in before the school year, but they come in to get ahead. Teachers come in to get ahead so that when they do come in for pre-service, they can be calm and thoughtful and plan for that very first day of school, that first week of school. When students show up at the door, the last thing we want is hectic, burnout teachers from a week of, you know, meeting, PD. So we're having to legislate 2 days, and that's just kind of the wake-up call. You know, and the principle of, and that's principle PLE, not PAL, the principle here is, you know, let's be sure we don't take people for granted, that we let our teachers, you know, we need PD, absolutely, they need work time, but to have a good balance there. We cannot be, teachers and staff can't be expected to sacrifice their personal and family time for routine school matters. So, you know, we need good sound principles to, well, like the golden rule. Let's just treat people like we want to be treated. It's just very simple. So those 4 days, this year we've got 6 days pre-service, correct? 6 days. It used to be 5. We've moved 1 from the end of school to the beginning to get that, and now we're going to have a half day. We've got to talk about that in just a bit. So those other 2 days, or other 4 days, I just noticed in my packet that there's a PD calendar in here. I just wanted to make sure that everybody is clear going into the school year. Those extra 4 days, we know we got 4 days of PD or meetings before school. We got 2 days of unencumbered, and we got those 4 days left. Are they going to be teacher work days, or are they going to be PD days / work days, or work days versus PD? So teachers know going into the school year exactly what they have coming up.
Yes, so, Ms. Elrod, I don't know how easily it would be to get to that Google Sheet that you've been working on, because we literally used the language from the law, so that there were 4 PD days, 4 days that had, let me make sure I use the exact language, 4 days that had professional development, 4 days that had teaching techniques, academic achievement, and then 2 days, we call them EAA days, just to ensure everybody's clear. These 2 days are law. They cannot be interrupted. They cannot have meetings. They can't be asked to do anything. And so those 2 days are July 31st and August 5th for us, so that we have that. Now, Kelly will sign in, and she will pull that up. This was sent also to the principals. It will be reviewed again when we meet tomorrow and Thursday with our district leadership teams. But yes, we have been very intentional of using the exact language and verbiage from the law so that people understand what the law is saying. So I'll get Kelly to pull that up for you.
So are we talking about this academic?
No, ma'am, not yet. Well, we're talking about, do you see those days that are color-coded yellow in the beginning?
Yeah.
We're talking about how the law requires 10 days, and those 10 days to be broken out. And Ms. Elrod has done a great job of ensuring that the law, the language in the law is also on the PD days and the days notated, so that principals are very clear about that.
Okay,
So
but then
she's
she's gonna show that, but then my understanding is, did we not have these days for these teachers to work in their rooms?
We do, yes,
We do.
ma'am, we do.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You did
Madam-
not know that?
No, ma'am, I did.
Madam Chair.
Why?
Madam Chair, I think the Honorable Mr. Duke's point is well taken. I thank him for raising that point. I think Ms. Kelly has so eloquently expressed to all of us that we have assured that these 2 days are not encroached upon for our teachers, and the language is conveyed from the law and has been transferred into a message or note that went out to teachers or is going out to the teachers. So in the interest of time, I think that we would like to move on.
If I may, Madam Chair, the issue is not those 2 days. That's in the law, you got to do it. It's the 4 days that are really not clearly spelled out. 4 days may be used for teacher planning. I just want to make sure that they're clearly spelled out to teachers going into the school year. Is sometime during the school year, there's 4 more days. Is that a work day, or is that a, that's
And
all
as
I'm
I
asking.
stated, I think Dr. Kelly has so
One other thing
painstakingly, you sound like you cut me off.
Sorry about that.
No, I'll wait. I'll let you go ahead because maybe what you have to say is a little more important than what I have to say. So I'll wait and then I'll express myself.
I had another thought as I was talking. So the superintendent mentioned following the language of the law. If you look at that one paragraph from the State Department, it says the legislative intent. Sometimes you got language of the law and then you got the spirit of the law or the intent of the law. We've got, for example, a couple of schools that are doing Sunday meet and greet. Okay, that's not in the law. That doesn't break the law because this is about work days, but the weekend. And I think the intent and the spirit of the law is let's don't encroach on family time. Let's don't encroach on teacher time. Teacher time during the work day, if we're going to give them those 2 work days, then don't interrupt. But the weekend it's not in the law, but I think the spirit of the law is being a little bit bent, I would say.
And I will, if Chairman, may I?
Yeah, you need to go ahead and tell us this because I'm confused.
Okay,
Because
so.
I'm thinking that these days is already there for those teachers to do that. What
Yes,
they
ma'am.
wanna do on the weekend is their business to me.
Well, we have 2 schools. We have T.L. Hanna and Homeland Park that have scheduled open houses on Sunday prior to. They have done this historically, and I got rationales from each of the principals because I talked to them personally when Mr. Dukes raised this concern. Homeland Park said that their teachers, they were talking about it, and they did this last year, and I'll just read what she said. We had families attend. Instead of one parent showing up for the event, it was the whole family. Teachers were impressed by the number of families that showed up last year when we hosted it on a Sunday. A teacher stated that she had all except 2 families attend to meet the teacher last year. Most of our parents work long hours and different shifts, and we are accommodating the majority of them. Teachers will be allowed to leave 2 hours early on a day before the school year starts to get their families prepared for school. This enables us to put operational and instructional paperwork in the hands of parents and time for them to ask questions. We had parents respond in 2 surveys to have workshops or informational events be completed over the weekend. So it was in the spirit of accommodating families who work.
And what days are those?
This one's on Sunday, August 2nd, for Homeland Park. And then T.L. Hanna's the same thing. They said they've done this historically for years. We have found that Sunday produces much higher participation from our families. Traditionally, both sides of our gyms are full for our 9th grade orientation. Families tend to like an early Sunday afternoon event. 3 o'clock is when they start theirs because most families are available. Follows church, and there isn't a lot of other activities. We also use this Sunday as a way to give our counselors maximum time when they return on contract to fix student schedules following the rollover in Power School. So both principals assured me that historically this has been a wonderful event that teachers appreciated and families appreciated. We did have one other school that was having it on Sunday, and when I spoke with that principal, he was more than eager to say, I'll be glad to move it to the middle of the week.
Madam Chair, just for the record, I received complaints about the teachers being asked to work on Sunday, so I just wanted to add that.
Now, I was just gonna say the same thing. I had a couple of teachers reaching out to me and was telling me they didn't like coming in on a Sunday.
Do you know which schools?
I wanna say it was West Market.
Yeah, that's the one we changed to the middle of the week. Yes, sir.
Okay, was that your school too, West Market?
I got a complaint out of West Market.
Okay,
And
okay, so
Homeland
they
Park.
changed.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay,
we
so
changed
that's
that. Yes,
That's
ma'am.
good.
Yes, ma'am.
So Homeland Park and T.L. Hanna is satisfied.
And
Yeah, I
I
got
got
a-
one
I
out
got
of
a
West
complaint out of
Market, but I
Homeland
had
Park.
several others that liked Sunday. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you know, I figure the principal knows their
And Homeland
students
Park
and
and
parents.
T.L. Hanna is my school.
And I think the rationale for Homeland Park was they did parent surveys, and the parents overwhelmingly said, we appreciate the weekend events, it allows us to be a part.
And I'll make one last comment, and I'll be quiet, and thank you for making my point, because my point was, we're encroaching on teachers. I didn't hear anything about, some teachers may want to do that, but still, even if you comp them, it's a 6-day work week now, okay? Because if you come in 3 hours on Sunday, and you get 3 hours off on a day during the week, you've still got a 6-day, you're coming on Sunday, it's a 6-day week. So, I know it's family-friendly, I understand that, and I put that in my email to you. And I understand the reason for doing it, and you get good turnout, but we have a big problem. My point was, we have to legislate 2 work days now, and that's kind of a wake-up call, that this is breaking our teachers, and we need to look for every opportunity to respect their time, both their personal time and their family time. And I'll be quiet.
So,
A 6-day work week.
should we pay teachers for coming to PTA?
They don't even have it anymore, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? I didn't even know you had PTA.
Should we pay teachers to come to PTA? Should we pay them to go to the football games on Friday night?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about paying teachers at all. This is not a
You
part
were
of
the
paying
one
somebody.
that just spoke about comp time and paying.
No, the principals are giving comp time for the hours that they work. If they work on Sunday 3 hours, they get to go home early 3 hours.
Or take it at another time.
Or
that
take it
works
at
for
another time. So, but my point is, if they work Monday, let's just say that Sunday before, in the pre-service, next Sunday, they come in for 3 hours. Let's say on Monday, the principal says, well, you can go home 3 hours, you can leave at 12 o'clock. They've still worked that week, a 6-day work week. So it's stressful on our employees. That's my point.
Half the world works a 6-day work week.
One
We're
final
contracted for 5 days.
One final comment. Board policy IMDC says the district will prepare its calendar so as to minimize conflicts with the religious holidays of all faiths.
Okay, I think we have finished with this, and if that, my opinion, if that school wants to do that and those teachers are satisfied with that, unless somebody calls somebody else to tell them that they don't want to do that on a Sunday, then I think that principals need to work that out with them not to do it. But if somebody wants to do it, and those parents are happy to do it, that that's a time that they could take to go and see the teacher and whatever they need to do, let's not stop them from doing that.
Well, Mr. Thompson did say one teacher at Homeland Park complained.
Well, the flip side of that, I had several said they like it that way. So, you can argue that all day long.
Yeah, you can argue all day
Yeah,
about who
I mean,
don't wanna
that's-
come, who wanna come, cause there's gonna be somebody that say, oh, I didn't wanna come.
I mean,
then,
I
but
reached
I'm
out
gonna
3 or
go
4,
on
so they were
anyway."
fine with it.
So go on anyway. Okay, student, screening time, we got off of that, and then we was on this educated assistant.
We just finished that.
We finished with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Employee survey.
Yes, ma'am. We passed that last month. Thank you, board, and we just need to find a time for a work session. I'd ask Ms. Kelly or somebody in the administration if just like you try to line up our work sessions during the winter or during December, and if we could do that again for perhaps end of August, first week of September would be good for me on that.
No, it won't work for me.
Okay, well, if it, it has to, I think it would have to work for everybody so that we could get it done. Do you have any other dates that you want? Did you have any other dates that you could use? I threw out, dates and all.
well, I just threw out the end of August, first of week of.
Well, Madam Chair, I have 6-day work weeks from now through October 15th, so.
Well, that doesn't stop the whole process, Mr. Price. If you can't make it, then that's, we try to accommodate you, but I'm not sure that I've ever said y'all can't hold some committee meeting because I can't be there. So that doesn't kill the whole.
They
Madam Chair?
asked for dates, I said those don't accommodate me.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can get some others. 'Cause
Are you
I-
talking
like-
are you
No,
talking
I'm
during the
not
day or
looking
evening?
Because I may be out of town that, you said
It-
the last
I
of
can do
August, the
either, of
first of
course.
September.
I would ask Dr. Kelly if she could just poll the board like she does all the other times for those 10 days, last week of August, first week of September. I mean, that's 10 days.
Wrong question.
Um,
I know this is a
and
loaded
then-
question. About how much time do you think, Trip? A couple hours or?
Oh, yeah, 3 hours.
Why are we polling just for that time? I mean, what if I wanted to meet in, October?
Well, we have set a deadline to get it done between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Late fall is what was in the motion and what was approved. So we're on a timeline now. The clock is ticking.
Okay, but she's gonna get it together for us, right? She's gonna, the
What-
superintendent is gonna.
Sounds good.
Superintendent Kelly, just make that a 3-week window, end of August, first and second weeks of September.
Or October, whatever you wanna do.
Why don't we just,
Madam Chair, if I'm in order, I would like to just forward it to the superintendent, let her staff handle it, forward something out to us, poll us, and we get back to her. If that doesn't work, we try again.
Sound good to me?
Thank you.
Number 7.
Okay, action items, June the 9th, 2026, minutes. And you all have read the minutes, I'm sure. Is there any corrections to the minutes?
Madam Chair, hearing no corrections, I make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Hearing no corrections, the minutes are approved as presented. Okay, now we're down to 7B, action items updated for 26-27 modified school calendar.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, typically, historically, we hold high school graduations on the last day of school that are always scheduled for a half day. Unfortunately, Little John Coliseum wasn't able to assist us with that scheduling date, and the earliest date we could get was Friday, May 21st. On our calendar right now, Friday, May 21st is not a half day. If the board wants to continue to use the process of using a half day for graduation, which does help our families and it helps our high school staff to attend those ceremonies, we would need to move one of our half days to Friday the 21st. The state law only allows us to have 3 half days. Our current calendar has a half day on December 18th. We have it on May 24th and May 25th. So we've included 2 options. Of course, there are other options that if the board would want to consider others, that is up to the board, and we will definitely do whatever is the wish of the board. But option A is to remove the half day on December 18th and move that to Friday, May 21st. So then you would have a half day May 21st, a half day May 24th, and a half day May 25th. And it would just eliminate that half day dismissal on December 18th. And then option B, if you want to keep that half day on Friday, December 18th, a lot of our families travel that day for families and visits and that sort of thing because it's winter break. You would keep the half day on the 18th. You would make Friday the 21st, but you would remove the half day on the 24th. So Friday, May 21st would be a half day to accommodate both schools graduating, T.O. and Westside. Then Monday, the 24th would be a full day, and then Tuesday, the 25th would be a half day. But again, these are just 2 options. If there are other options you all would like to entertain, we will do whatever's the pleasure of the board.
I'd go with B,
Option B,
yeah.
B.
Okay?
cause I'm sure that people will wanna travel that day, so get off that half day for Christmas.
Yeah,
what if we as a board swapped those days just for our high schools?
I think buses and all that, it,
And
Would be
families.
feasible.
families.
Middle school and high school students be
I don't
together.
think they would.
It wouldn't be feasible. I think option B might be our best
We need
option.
a motion for it, but don't make a motion for it, 'cause we don't.
Madam Chair, may I make a comment? And I agree with option B. Because we moved a day, there used to be a full day when the school year ended, the next day generally was, well, it was a work day for teachers. That's gone now because it was put at the beginning of this year. So now, you know, we've moved one of their half-days. We were told that, you know, the 2 half-days, they could break their room down and get it all packed up, which, that's a difficult task. If I could just request that teachers be allowed to begin breaking their classroom down that week before. Usually we don't like the room to start looking empty when the kids are still there full days, but I think they're gonna need the opportunity to do that.
Madam Chair, considering the Honorable Mr. Duke's suggestion and considering the fact that the pleasure of the board being option B, I make a motion or I move that we move forward with option B.
Is there
I'll
a
second. I'll second it.
Okay, it is moved in second to approve the update 2026-27 school option B, modified school calendar. Is there any other discussion? All in favor? I think that was everybody.
It was.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
very
that was
good.
everybody. Those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, and it's updated 2026-2027 modified school calendar is approved. And that's option B. You got that? Okay, chair, okay, down to action, item for superintendent evaluation instrument timeline.
Madam Chair, that was mentioned by Mr. Dukes at our last meeting to be placed on this agenda, so I do not have any further information.
Do you have any further information on it?
I was just hoping we would get a timeline. That's per the superintendent's contract, we're supposed to be provided with that.
At our last agenda review meeting, not this one, the last, I asked you if I needed to bring anything, and you said no.
Okay, we'll just wait to hear.
So you want me to bring that in August?
Could you tell us what do you know what your plan is?
I can tell you what we're currently doing because I can pass this out. This is what you all approved. Mr. K, you mind passing this?
Not at all.
Just pass that down. This is what you all approved for us to be utilizing this year. So we currently, I'll be sending you a report with a narrative of how the goals, we had 6 goals, and how those goals were achieved throughout the school year, and I'll give that to you by the first week of September. You then will create your narrative about that. You can do it 2 different ways. You can call legal counsel, as you have done in the past, and she will take your narrative over the phone, as she has done in the past, or you can put it in Word form and send it to her, and then she will, and that will happen between September 1st and October 1st, and then she'll gather all that information, create an evaluation summary for you all, as you have done in the past, and during executive session in October, you all will discuss that and determine the rating for that.
Okay, is there, that someone makes a motion, or could I get a second that that the superintendent evaluation instrument timeline be approved as presented to us?
I have a comment.
We already
We
had
have to have
that
a
motion.
motion.
Oh, you're asking for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the timeline as presented by the
Second.
superintendent.
I have a second.
And use the template that we have used for the past several years. The one that she started this year, thinking she was gonna be evaluated.
Okay, it is moved and second to approve the superintendent evaluation instrument timeline. Is there any discussion? You just said what you had to say about it.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes had a discussion. The Honorable Mr. Dukes had a discussion.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. Kay. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir,
Am
go
I
ahead,
my
go
floor?
ahead.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just gonna ask if for the ratings in the back, which I'm glad to see, because we haven't had that in the past. Is there a rubric for any of this?
No, sir,
How
when
do we-
this was approved you all approved this at the beginning of this school year. I think it was about in October or November. You approved this. This is the instrument you all approved. So no, there was no, I know you had spoken about that in the past of having ratings for each of the areas and what should be looked for and below expectations, what should be looked for, but no, sir, there is not.
So, yeah, as I recall, last year, we approved the evaluation instrument for that year, and the whole goal was to make sure that we had meetings during the summer to iron out all of these things, which we have not done. So, per contract, I just want to be on record that this is still does not meet my criteria for an evaluation instrument. It just, it's still going to be subjective, as we have to call, it was subjective versus objective. Don't want to get into all that again, but this is still subjective. Although we do have a rating at the back, there's no rubric to even determine what these are going to be. So,
You will
I
have
just-
the report of the evidence that's been presented to you throughout the year,
Mm-hmm.
and then from that, you can determine.
Yes, sir, Mr. Thompson?
okay.
Some clarifying questions and a point. What we're talking about in this motion is we're saying, we're just acknowledging what we approved at the beginning of the last school year on how we're going to evaluate the superintendent in the fall based on this past year. I think there's some confusion about what to do for next year. Like, we're sort of conflating that. I think, Mr. Bradshaw, you added on to the motion after it was seconded that we were going to continue to use the evaluation instrument that we've used in past years. I'm not, that's okay, that's okay. I want to read this one sentence from the superintendent's contract, just so I'm being clear. Or excuse me, two sentences. Let me go to three, I'm sorry. The board and, I can if you'd like, you know, filibuster.
If you try that.
The board and superintendent shall meet at least once annually and may include other appropriate school officials of the district for the purpose of establishing district goals and objectives for the ensuing school year. Said goals and objectives shall be reduced to writing and be among the criteria by which the superintendent is evaluated as hereinafter provided. This annual meeting shall normally be held during the summer, though the initial such meeting conducted on or before September 1st, 2023. So I think we need to establish what we're going to do for next year. And I just want to make sure that this motion you're making is not, you're not laying out what needs to be done for next year. Are you making a motion that for next year we use this evaluation instrument?
So, no, so her evaluation is coming up when?
It's to be done in the fall according to the
So-
calendar that was established, right?
So she's been using these criteria for the past year.
Correct.
I can't see changing that
No.
for her fall evaluation.
No.
So yes, I'm open to whatever y'all wanna do for the following
Right.
year, but she needs to be judged on this in
Yeah.
the fall.
Is that, Mr. Dukes, am I hitting
Well,
on
the
anything there?
meeting, as you read the contract, we're supposed to meet during the summer to have a evaluation instrument presented to us and work through that with the board, and that hasn't happened. As a
For
matter of fact, there was
next year.
for next year, there was a
Right.
motion that it happened in May, June, or July, and it hasn't happened. So, but that would be going into, so we got a blank slate, I suppose, for next school year, what we're gonna be using. So, and we need to get together and do that, according to the contract.
And that was my understanding, what you were bringing here, because when I asked you, not this agenda review meeting, but the last, I said, Mr. Dukes, what do I need to bring? You said nothing, I have it.
Well, I've got an excellent, as we talk about exemplars, I have an exemplar from a school district, it's a 137-page evaluation, and I'm not saying that's what's needed. It's a big district.
Pardon, did you say 137-page evaluation?
That was what the superintendent, I know, I'm not saying, don't take me wrong.
I'll be fired.
No, here's the point. Here's the point. Here's the point. There's the district, the board gets together and comes up with their goals, board goals. Okay, we really don't have any set goals on paper as a goal, as a board. We don't have that. So the board gets together, sets goals. Then those goals are transmitted to the superintendent. She sets her goals based on what the board wants. The evaluation is set on that. That's what, it's all in alignment. Right now, we don't, this instrument that we've been using in the past years has no alignment to the strategic plan. It's just a lot of stuff, and it's subjective. Okay, and again, like I said before, All the superintendent's got to do is please 9 people, but not really 5 people. Okay, that's all the superintendent has to do. I think, and the board needs to have some objective way to say, using these criteria, how is it above expectations, meets expectations, below expectations on each of the goals? The goal should align with the strategic plan. The strategic plan should align with what the board's goals. Put it all in alignment. It is not in alignment right now. It is absolutely not in alignment, and there's no objective tools to even get it in alignment. So that's what a work session during the summer would do. I have that exemplar. I'll be happy to share it with you. I'm sorry I didn't bring it this time. But, I mean, it's just, I don't want a pattern. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I would like for us to pattern what we do upon what I just said, of just how the alignment needs to be for the district, top to bottom. Where the
Okay.
top gets all the way down to the classroom.
So it
Now-
does align to your strategic goals, because goal number 2 says the superintendent will promote high academic expectations and standards to achieve the district's educational goals. All of those goals are in your strategic plan. So it does align to your strategic plan.
Well, there's those 6 areas, and they're all still subjective. They're very subjective.
They came from the South Carolina School Board Association's model.
When, this model, they have a subjective model, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir, I
The
got
school
the
board-
goals, they're the
No, not the
topics
goals,
and-
the evaluation model is subjective that the school board association puts out there. Well, we don't ask our teachers to do that, we don't ask our principals to do that. I would just say, let's get in line.
Madam Chair, if I understand correctly, we are all in agreement that we're not going to change anything before her evaluation in fall, right?
Right.
And we're all in agreement that we are okay with working through the details for next year, right?
Correct.
With the exemplar that the Honorable Mr. Dukes is going to bring to us. So nobody has a problem with him bringing that information. Nobody has a problem with the Honorable Mr. Dukes presenting that information. And we've already agreed that we're not going to do anything with the process that we have now before the evaluation in the fall. So my question is, what is the discussion?
Say, what is the discussion?
Yes.
The discussion is,
We've agreed with you.
right,
Okay.
well, we haven't had a meeting we're gonna need a work session for that as well.
Okay. Does
Thank you.
anybody else have
Thank you.
anything else? Thompson has something.
I feel like if you withdraw your motion, Mr. Bradshaw, we just carry on with this year as we were going to do, and then if we set a date for a future work session, whether at this meeting or next, I feel like problem solved.
That's fine. Right.
Is that?
Under those circumstances, I would withdraw that motion.
Okay.
And could we also get, then you want to meet sometime between this is July, August?
I'm not ready to set that date.
I think
yet.
we-
There's
we-
some things that I've got to look at.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
maybe we
I
can
don't
do
wanna
that at
set
the
it
next
tonight.
meeting.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
okay, we'll move, we're down now to.
Policy revisions.
Yeah, but we don't do anything with this.
No, ma'am.
Okay. We're down now to policy provisions, and, the next item is
GDC recommends the superintendent.
what's it? Policy GDC, support staff leaves and absence.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. I'm going to have Amy Hurd come, and she'll present the recommendations.
Good evening again. Policy GDC is one that we have talked about in the past, and we had decided that we would put that off until the July meeting as it relates to paying out the sick leave that we discussed during last year's budget process. So March of 2025 is when we decided that we would pay out for additional sick leave over 90 days. And, so after that was approved, that's when we looked and noticed that policy GDC and GCC needed to be updated to include that language. We brought that back earlier in the year, and I think that it was decided during the budget process that we wanted to wait, and I think there was some misunderstanding between what the intent was and what we actually approved. So we wanted to wait and look at the numbers in July of the staff that would be paid out prior to this policy being brought forward. So policy GDC right now, what is being added is the statement, no changes are being made to the current policy, it's only the addition of this line. At the end of each fiscal year, the district will reimburse employees at a designated rate of pay determined during the annual budget process for any unused accumulated sick leave exceeding 90 days.
Well, will we have money for that bill that we've already discussed, this money that we're not getting?
Yes, ma'am, during the 25-26 budget, we set aside $190,000. Just looking at it at that time, what did we think it would cost us? And once we did the calculation after June 30th of this year, it's right at $100,000 as to what it will cost us.
And then this GDC, there's some people that won't get this money.
Right now, that's what's up for discussion at the board. Right now, what we did for the current fiscal year that just ended 25-26 is all employees were eligible for the sick leave payout after 90 days. So we've got two policies here. One is support staff and one is professional staff. The statement is the same on both. So that's what the pleasure of the board is. Will we make an adjustment to exclude folks that work 230 and 240 days?
How did we come up with $65?
We just looked at what other districts around us were doing, and if you'll remember, during the budget process this year, we changed that to $10 an hour. Because our leave is in 15-minute increments, it's easier to do it by the hour now. So the first year, we just looked at what our surrounding districts were doing and picked $65 an hour. And during this last budget process that we just completed, we changed that to being $10 an hour because that works a lot better with our 15-minute increments, where we don't have to round it up or down for days, a daily rate.
But on this sheet that I have in my hand, it shows we're rounding.
Right, but that was because for 25-26, when you approved it in the budget, it was $65 per day. So during the March and April, May, June of this year, we changed that for next fiscal year
$10.
to be at $10 per hour to help with the rounding, so we wouldn't have to do that. We didn't want to go back. We can do whatever the board, this hasn't been paid out yet. So if the board comes back right tonight and says, I want to pay $10 an hour and scrap the $65 a day, we can go back in finance and do that because it hasn't been paid out yet. It's just, we were looking at what districts around us were doing, but no district around us has their leave time in 15-minute increments. We are very, very employee-friendly on that standpoint. Most people do quarter at a minimum, half, some have to do full days. So when we recommended it, we were just looking at policies around us, and we recommended $65 a day. And since that's what the board approved, we didn't want to change that for 25-26, but we realized during the budget process that really wasn't best for our employees, and it really wasn't best for us to calculate it so our employees got the best benefit. So that's why we asked to go to per hour rate. And so to get it close as we could be, it was $10 an hour.
And what do we pay substitutes for a sick
Ms.
day?
Buford, what do we pay substitutes?
Rough guess.
It's different depending upon your certification, but
So let's say,
$100.
so they're subbing for a certified teacher and they're certified. And we're getting them to buy it for half that. Sound like too good a deal to pass up for the board. I mean, and it sounds like a terrible deal for our teachers.
For the employees, for all
Yeah.
employees.
So, you know,
We
you're
have
kind of,
the documents to show, I mean, I know we're gonna talk about the 230 and 240 employees. Some of them do have vacation time, but a lot of people give up vacation time as well. It doesn't get paid out except for when you leave. And so we do have employees that lose vacation as well. We're not asking for that to be paid or anything else. But yes, the district is getting a good deal for folks that are not using this time for the most, for every employee. We don't have an employee that makes less than $10 an hour now. And right now, that's what we're asking, $10 an hour.
You mean substitute, you meant support staff.
yes.
Okay.
No, I meant a substitute teacher? How much do we pay a substitute teacher? Because these are sick days, right? And we're buying sick days from people that are gonna lose them. So instead of taking the sick day and the equivalent of 100 and, well, whatever their pay is, as opposed to a substitute pay, we're a whole lot better just to take the sick day.
Yeah. It's almost like it might encourage you to wanna take the sick day instead of getting paid half pay for it, maybe.
And you know,
I don't know.
my thing has always been that we shouldn't have sick days. And I know this is a little off subject, but that we shouldn't have sick days, we should just have days. You know, we encourage our teachers to when they need a day for a specific reason, if it doesn't fit into being sick, it encourages them to get sick, you know? I don't know a nice way of putting that. It's the truth.
Don't they get personal days? Didn't we give them personal
Yeah, we
days?
have 3 personal, well, we did give them 3 personal days and we changed it to 5. So there are 5 personal days and 6 sick days.
They have 190-day employees get 12 sick leave days, and if you've been here at least 5 years, 5 of those can be personal,
Yeah.
whenever you choose.
And the reason we changed it, we did a test, okay, several years ago. We said, let's go from 3 to 5 and just see if that increases the amount we have to pay out for substitutes. Are they really gonna take those days, like we think they would if we switched it all to personal days? And we found that it really didn't make any difference by going from 3 to 5, the amount that we were paying out for substitutes. Isn't that right, Ms. Hurd? So my question is, why don't we change them to personal days, all personal days? And once you're out of personal days, you're out. You get docked for those sick days that you took as personal. You get docked. You've got 12 days, just like you have 12 days now, but it gives that person the option of saying, well, I'm gonna use my sick days and we're gonna take that week off and go to Disney World, okay?
Are you wanting to pay them for their sick days over 90? That's the
No,
question.
I'm saying we shouldn't have sick days. We should just have personal days.
Ms. Burris, it would still be,
The same amount of days.
yes, sir.
Same amount of days.
The wording may change. We would probably need to do a little bit of work on that to see what that is. Just what I'm thinking about is the human resource side of things with the 90 days of sick leave that rolls into retirement. We need to be careful to make sure that we don't hurt employees. I know that's not the intent of the board, but we need to make sure before we go to changing all the words that we're not gonna unintentionally impact people that are saving their 90 days that roll over at retirement, because those are, I think, called sick leave at the state retirement system. So
Right.
that's the only,
That's-
that's one caveat. The other is, and Dr. Kelly May can speak to this better than I can, I've heard it through the grapevines, in schools. Typically, when you do transfer everything over to personal days, it could potentially impact instruction. It could have a negative impact on instruction for just exactly what you said, is that now they become 12 personal days. That's 12 days that maybe a teacher, and I know, Mr. Dukes, we're trying to be teacher-friendly and not impede on their time, but the 190-day contract is when they're here for students, that, when you open that up, we want to have the flexibility for teachers to do what they need to do, but we don't want to hurt children in that impact.
Right, a couple comments. We postponed this policy until now, until we could get the data that you provided us just recently, and I've just had a chance to look at that briefly. There's no hurry to get this done, right? No, this policy.
We don't have a policy, this will be paid out July 30th.
Well, we're going to do that anyway, because that was passed. It's just changing the policy moving forward. Just as a reminder, I'd asked, I'd put this on the budget a year or so ago. just as an incentive to folks who had days over 90. You just lose them. Whether they're personal, whether they're sick, you just lose them. The intent there is if a person could come into work, they don't feel real great, and they knew they were going to get paid, that they come in and we don't have to get a substitute because the teacher in front of the students, even not feeling well, not 100% is better than the substitute.
Till the next week when every kid in their classroom.
Well,
because of
don't come with a
spread
fever.
the-
Don't come with a fever. Okay, you can't be contagious. So anyway, so I've gotten that data. I've split. Amy sent me a spreadsheet, and I was able to kind of split it out some more. She ran some good data on it, but I'd like to share that. But first, I think I just would like to make a motion to postpone this or to table this until our next meeting. I'll pass this data out. You can ask questions about it if you'd like, but you'll have time to look at it. The other piece of data we don't have, and you mentioned this, Mr. Bradshaw, is this is our first year that teachers and staff knew we were going to get paid this, correct? I mean, we advertised this. Did it make a difference in our substitute numbers? Did they go down? Did they go up from last year to this year? So I'd love to see that too. I'm not asking you to quote that, but I know ESS will give y'all data and you compare last year's to this year. But and that's not saying that made the difference, but if it's significant, you would think perhaps the money helps. So if we just postpone this until next week, if we could possibly get that data sometime between now and then. In the meantime, I'll give next month. Let's say next week. Next month.
Second.
There's no motion to be postponed because there hasn't been a motion, so you're just making the motion to set an agenda.
I need to give that to Amy.
And nobody's made a motion to postpone.
So I'd like to make a motion to postpone
There's
this.
nothing to postpone, you're making a motion to set an agenda.
To set an agenda, to put this on next month's agenda.
And if you
Second.
could have in that, also, changing it to personal days, what districts, in our county, pay it out as 12 personal days? How is their academics looking as compared to,
I think that's very,
That's
we're
gonna
gonna
be
go back
based
to
on
subject, I
poverty.
mean, you got poverty and title schools, and I don't know how that'll be apples to apples. We can absolutely.
but we
get into
can
more.
certainly compare how their teachers are using their substitute.
And we have similar districts
times
based on
and-
poverty index.
Yeah.
I can reach out to those similar districts and see if they designate all 12 as personal leave or if they, differentiate it. So I'll reach out for that.
I've tried to get that done for several years now, and we even tested it and still came out okay, so.
Madam Chair, do we need to take a vote on the motion presented by the Honorable Mr. Dukes?
Just ask if there's any objection to having this on next month's agenda.
Okay, and this paper is from you.
It is, I was going to wait until discussion.
So in August.
Yes.
Can you send this electronically and we'll put it in the packet?
Well, I need to talk about it first, just real quick. I mean, I'm not going to go over the numbers. So are we waiting on we got a motion and a second, discussion?
I would just ask if there's any objection to putting this on next month's agenda.
Is there any objection to putting this on next month's agenda with this paper also? From Mr. Dukes?
So we'll call it next month.
All right.
It'll come up next month.
Great.
Can I make a comment about this?
No. It'll come up next month.
I would, Ms. Larissa, it's really important that I make that comment.
Then we just said it'll come up next month, so what's the rule?
It's up to the board if they want to allow him to speak, it's up to the board if he wants to make a comment.
Up to the board.
Go ahead and just tell us right quick.
I have no objection.
Thank you. The numbers, this is from Amy, but over on the right-hand side, I was trying to explain to some of my colleagues on the board about sick day and paying out and all that sort of thing and vacation day. And when you're just talking about it, it gets very muddy and very confusing, so I tried to put it on paper. When I did this, I did not have, was waiting on some data from Ms. Hurd, which she sent me, but it did not get on here. So these numbers might not be 100% accurate because there's so many different, levels of contracts and lengths of terms. But so Amy, if you would look, I gave it to her. If you'd look over it and correct it, I would rather have her numbers than mine. because she can get more she's got more details than I do. When I did that, just as some examples, if I was gonna talk about it tonight, that's why I'd rather just postpone it, which we have done. So I give you this just to look over until then, but if Amy, if you don't mind looking over it and correcting those numbers.
Okay, so whatever else we get is gonna be from Amy, from your work. Why? Where is Amy? Okay, I was looking at it.
So
Okay.
just to make sure that I'm clear, so I give you guys what you want. So Mr. Dukes, I'm gonna take this, I think you've done the categories to get the average payout. I just need to make sure that custodial, that I have 9 on my sheet, and that this is the amount to get to the average.
Well, actually, those are all your numbers.
Okay.
So everything on the right, though, are just examples that I did off the top of my head. I knew 190 got 12 days a year, but, 180, I don't know how many they get, 185, that sort of thing. And we don't have to get into that level of detail. The idea is the 230, 240s versus the 190s and, or less than 230, really. And just an explanation of how vacation pay works when you pay out, and everything on the right, if you just look over that. Thank you. Thank you.
See,
ISBGA, Technology, Resources, Administrative Rules, IFBGAR, first reading.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. Mr. Crittenden's going to come and talk about this policy for us.
In the IFBGA, there really is only 2 points that are, 2 words and phrases that are being changed here.
Thank you, Doris.
And the first note is really we're moving the word computers to encompass devices because obviously computers is a very limited scope of what runs on our networks. So we have phones, we have other devices with information. So we are extending that rule to say any devices that access the internet are affected here. And the other part of this is that internet permission forms that go home are no longer sent home, rather they're made available during registration of the students. So those are the only 2 changes with this policy.
I do have one. I'll make a motion that we approve this on first reading.
Do we not have to vote on it?
You do for policy, not for the administrative rule. Yes,
Not for
ma'am.
the administrator.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
Now, I would like to discuss one thing.
Go ahead and state the motion first.
Well, I need to state the motion.
So it's moved and seconded to approve it.
Oh, okay.
Just say it's moved and seconded to.
It's moved and second to be approved.
Okay. So, we had a $6 million project where we were addressing redundancy with our network.
Yes.
Can you give a quick update
Absolutely.
on that and how
Absolutely.
it
In fact,
affected?
In fact, I'd love to. So as of today, we only have 9 more sites that we plan to get on into our, what we're calling the loop. We have 9 more sites to get on. We expect to be finished by Tuesday.
But that is significantly over time, right? It was
Yes, this has
supposed to be ready in
been a 3-year
December.
project in the making from beginning to the end. And we fully expect that by the, in fact, I can tell you that with fiber cut we had last week, T.L. Hanna stayed up the entire time because we had already moved them over.
Okay.
And West Market came up halfway because it, say within about 15, 20 minutes, West Market came in because they were halfway set up. So we've already had a good test reference for this, and I feel like we're going to get great results.
Great. Can I request a monthly follow-up on this each month until it's
Absolutely.
completed?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Call for,
Why are we not sending the forms home? And we're saying we're making them available, we're not sending them home. Why
So
is
they're
that?
now, when parents are signing up for enrollment and for registration, that form is now included in that packet,
Registration gateway.
the registration gateway.
So if that form's not completed, what do we do? I mean, it's gotta be for them to get through the packet. Does that form have to be completed for them to
Mr.
say they're
Galloway, will you
registered?
speak to Registration Gateway, please? Thank you.
We sent out reminders to parents a few weeks ago via email and paper copy, and the parents are encouraged. The majority of our parents, I would say 75% of our parents, they complete their power school enrollment by the first day. We have to send out reminders throughout the year, and by the end of the first quarter, we have the majority. The principals push the importance of it, and if there's opportunity for us to make a phone call, talk to the parents just to take care of it, then we do those as well. So, but there are a variety of things in there, and that is included.
Okay, can y'all hold 1 second? Let me get to this second question. Stand by.
If a parent wants to fill out the paper copies, they could go do that instead of the online, or they all have to do it on?
If they were to request that, that would be fine, but as of right now,
I have a question about this administrative rule that goes along with that. Is that appropriate at this time?
I can, if you want me to do
Okay.
an overview of it, I can kind of explain kind of what we did.
That's fine, and then I'll follow up with my question about.
Okay, so, the administrative rule, really what we did here is since South Carolina law changed personal devices for students and they're no longer allowed on campuses, all we really did here was reference that law for students and personal devices. With the exceptions that we also know that students may have devices after hours at football games, at other associations. So we wanted to keep some of the rules and some of the wording that was in the former draft and move it to this draft. We haven't really rewritten a whole lot here. We have simply moved it from students. It used to be that had students and staff in the same section, and we just really took those words and said, okay, this is for students, this is for staff. And so a lot of the same wording is now limited to the staff. One of the students mentions the New South Carolina law.
Dr. Kelly, my main concern with the administrative rule is it says an administrator may examine a student's personal device and search its contents in accordance with disciplinary guidelines. I know we've got policies about interrogating students and students' rights as it pertains to those types of investigations at school. Am I in order to ask to strike a line from an administrative rule? Or could we, another option would be to ensure that this part of this administrative rule is sensitive to student rights. And it may be redundant in some way. It may be somewhere else in policy. I think it's probably a good question for the attorney. And I wanted to express that concern. I won't hold it up for the board. I'm just trying to make sure that that's.
I do want to know that this was included in the former language already, so this is not an addition to what was done before. This language was already in there.
And you are asking Floyd to do what? I mean, I don't understand.
Yes,
what
ma'am.
person is
There's
doing that.
there's a portion of the administrative rule that says an administrator may examine a student's personal device and search its contents in accordance with disciplinary guidelines.
Shouldn't have it out, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's a separate issue.
So, Mr.
Madam
Thompson,
Chair.
what I would like to do, since you've raised this question, I'd like to get with Mr. Galloway to look at our student code of conduct, to look at the procedures we have there for
Okay.
those types of, where you're saying an administrator may examine, and then make sure that we address and correlate that there. So it could add something to per student code of conduct, page such and such, or things like that. So if you'll allow us some time to look at that, and then we can bring that back out next month, just for you to look at.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Also want to point out that we, here as well, changed the wording, where it speaks about vandalism. We said to destroy devices is included in vandalism. We want to make sure that we pointed that out. We feel like the, intentional damage can be considered vandalism.
So there's no further discussion to the vote on adopting the policy.
And I'm trying to see if there's anything else, but I think that is it. Oh, there's also, for the internet forms here, we also made that language change as well. same language changes in policy.
Well, Madam Chair, can I ask a question? What about, can we keep it at first reading and not push it through tonight? We need, let this be the first reading.
Well, you're voting on policy. You're voting on policy, not the administrative rule. So you can vote on this policy for first reading and bring it back next month for second reading. And what I can do for the administrative rule is just put it under the superintendent's report to ensure that the language we have is sufficient for the board. So we can do
Yes.
that, okay?
Okay, so policy IFBGA technology resources administrative rule IFBGAR first reading. But I get a motion.
You have a motion and a second.
Got a motion and a second, so can we vote on it by raising your hand?
We're voting for.
Voting for. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opposed? 2. 3.
One, Mr. K's not here.
Cindy. Where is Mr. K?
It was Cindy and Bill.
Cindy and Bill. No, I'm
Cindy and
sorry.
Bill. We were voting Mr. K on, policy LB. I guess we just go over it again. I didn't even.
No, there's no need to go over
That's fine, 6-2.
Okay, 6 to 2.
Policy approved on first reading.
Okay, policy approved on first reading.
So then we're on to J2.
Now we're at policy JFAB, admission of non-resident students, administrative rule, JFABR, first reading.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. I'm gonna ask Mr. Galloway. He's been working diligently with legal counsel and new state law about inter-district transfers, so he'll be leading this policy for you.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, members of the board, and Superintendent Kelly. Tonight I'm presenting revisions to policy JFAB, admission of non-resident students, also referred to as inter-district transfers. The purpose of this policy is to establish a clear, consistent, and legally compliant process for students who reside outside of Anderson School District 5 but wish to attend one of our schools. These revisions are intended to ensure the district's policy adheres to South Carolina Code annotated section 59-8-165, which governs inter-district student transfers. The policy also provides greater clarity regarding eligibility, applications and notifications, enrollment priorities, school capacity, tuition and transfer fees, transportation responsibilities, continued enrollment, and the appeals process. Importantly, the policy seeks to provide families with equitable access to educational opportunities while ensuring that the district can reasonably consider available space, staffing, facilities, class sizes, programs, and the needs of our resident students. It also outlines protections against discrimination and addresses the provisions to appropriate services for students with disabilities. Overall, these revisions are intended to create a process that is fair and understandable for families, operational manageable for the district, and aligned with applicable state and federal requirements. So at this time, I will read policy JFAB, admission of non-resident students in its entirety. So y'all bear with me. And I will read what is in red. Admission, we would change the title to admission of non-resident students, parentheses, inter-district transfer first. The board recognizes that parents, legal guardians residing in one district may, for various reasons, wish to enroll their children in a school in another district. Therefore, in accordance with applicable state law, Anderson School District 5 will maintain a clear and consistent process for student admissions and transfers into or out of the district. The district will prominently post information regarding the inter-district transfer process on its website. In addition, the district will notify families by mail or email and hold community meetings or information sessions regarding inter-district transfers. The district will comply with applicable federal and state laws regarding student admissions and transfers into or out of the district. The superintendent or his or her designee will review all inter-district transfer applications. Definitions. The purpose of this policy, the following terms are defined below. Inter-district transfer means a transfer that allows students to enroll in a school or school district outside their residentially zoned school district. Transfers to a charter school are not considered inter-district transfers for the purpose of this policy. School capacity is the maximum number of students that can be accommodated in a school, ensuring a safe and effective learning environment. School capacity shall be determined by a capacity study, which shall include consideration of building capacity, individual class sizes, and other considerations required by state and federal law. Specialized program is a structured educational initiative or curriculum designed to meet the district academic or vocational needs of students. Waitlist is a list of students who have applied for enrollment in a school that has reached full capacity. Resident district means the district for which a student is residentially zoned. Non-resident transfer district means the district to which the non-resident student applies for transfer. Resident refers to a student who lives within the boundaries of a specific school district. Non-resident means a student who resides outside the district boundaries but enrolls in a district school through interdistrict transfer. Sibling means a person who shares at least one biological or legal parent or who is legally recognized as a sibling through adoption, guardianship, or placement in the same foster care or custodial arrangement. Eligibility. A student in grades K through 12 who does not live in the district but is otherwise eligible to attend a South Carolina public school may apply for an interdistrict transfer into the district school, subject to the capacity and eligibility criteria outlined in this policy. The district will permit an eligible non-resident student with disabilities to apply for transfer into district schools. The district will consider whether the requested school can provide the services required by the student's individual education plan, IEP. If the requested school cannot adequately meet the student's IEP requirements, the district will ensure the student is placed in a district school that can provide the student with the appropriate services and accommodation. Applications for admissions. Parent, legal guardians, or non-resident students seeking admission into the district schools may apply for an interdistrict transfer by completing either an online or paper application during the annual interdistrict transfer enrollment window. The online application will be available on the district's website and accessible from mobile or other electronic devices. Parents, legal guardians may obtain the paper application from the school or district office. Along with the interdistrict transfer application, the district will provide parents, legal guardians with detailed information about the interdistrict transfer process, including eligibility criteria and a list of schools with available space. Annual transfer enrollment window. The district will establish an annual transfer enrollment window for non-resident students seeking to enroll in the district school. The enrollment window will open no later than February 1st for the upcoming school year and will remain open for at least 90 days. The district will advertise the enrollment window on the district website at least 14 days before it's open. Applications for interdistrict transfers must be submitted to the superintendent or his or her designee by no later than March 30th. Applications received after March 30th will be considered late transfer applications and may be considered at the discretion of the superintendent or his or her designee. Approval and denial criteria. In determining whether to grant admission or a request for readmission, the superintendent or his or her designee may consider any factor he or she deems relevant.
Can I interrupt?
Oh, yes.
Our policy does say that it has to be read aloud, but our policy also says, if, however, the length of the proposal makes complete reading impractical, the proposal will be accurately summarized. Policies are available at the district office and at each school. Could we get if the board does not object, can we get a brief summary of the rest of this?
Yes, sir. So we currently, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to do it.
Is that okay? Everybody object?
Fine with me.
Okay, good, thank you. So we currently have an out-of-district tuition program, right? And so last year, 25 individuals were participated in it. And this is, this is similar to what we have going. However, there are some expectations from the state that requires us to post on our website any space that we have open with schools. And we base that off of our TPRs and things of that nature. So what this policy will ensure that we abide by what the state has put in place, posting dates in which we will have our window open for students to apply for interdistrict. Also, once our students are approved, they can go to any school that has availability, so they don't necessarily have to go to the school that they live closest to. So I don't see see much changing other than, I do not see, it'd be great if we have more students who would like to come to Anderson School District 5 because we will take them if they meet the criteria. And those criteria is not any different really from the students who apply for school choice. They must make sure they're in good academic standing, good behavior standing, and good standing from a attendance standpoint. And from those secondary, well, for our high schools, we need to make sure that they are on track to receive a diploma, because we do not want someone to come to our district and then they're not appropriately or they're not ready in good standing for graduation.
So, Mr. Galloway, is this the same as the out-of-district tuition they'll be paying?
Yes, ma'am, and so yes, ma'am, it is. They still have to provide transportation. And we're basically just taking what we have, adding some additional features to it, but continuing on with our out-of-district program.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I would also like to comment about the name of the policy, inter-district transfers. And I read the definition of an inter-district transfer, but having someone outside of the district transfer into the district is not an inter-district transfer.
It's intra.
It's intra.
Within the district is intra.
Intra.
Like
So
from
this
west
is
side to Hannah is
inter.
This is inter,
Yeah.
like you're entering in to not.
Answers my question.
Mr. Galloway, going back to the very first page, the black sentences, the very last one, the district will not accept those, this is the one that's lined out. The district will not accept students who have been expelled. Is there a provision? I glanced over it very quickly and did a little, I was Googling, I might have missed it while you were.
Yes, sir, there is a piece in there that
Is
talks
it?
about them being in good standing from the behaviors.
Okay, it doesn't say, it doesn't mention expelled specifically, it just says they have to be in good standing? And we can interpret that however we see fit?
Yes, sir. But I would definitely, let me go back, I would definitely.
That's a lot to comprehend here. I was looking for it myself, but I was looking for the word expelled and I couldn't find it.
This is first reading. This is first reading, so we have another month to,
Nailed down.
nail down any changes that we
Okay.
want to
Definitely
make.
notate that.
Yeah, make a note. Thanks, sir.
Can I, one other note. As far as the enrollment window, it says that it'll open no later than February 1st and stay open for at least 90 days. And then just below that, in the paragraph below that, it says applications must be submitted by no later than March 30th. So I just want to make sure those don't conflict with each other. Does that make sense?
So our
Dr.
plan
Kelly?
is to open when we return back from Christmas break. And that would definitely assist us in meeting that
Okay.
90-day,
Okay.
expectation. Which page were you on, the annual transfer enrollment window?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just whatever y'all's opinion is. Maybe it's fine according to what you're seeing, but.
I understand what you're saying.
As long as you saw it,
Oh, yes,
it's
sir.
fine.
And again, we received 25 last year. And if someone had a serious situation and we needed to step in, or they reached out to
Yeah.
this file for a variety of reasons, I think that gives us that discretion to go
Okay.
past that.
Thank you.
Any other questions you have, Mike?
Those inter-district transfers coming from one district into our district, would they still have to pay their out-of-district tuition?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Galloway.
Policy JFAB, so we don't have to vote. I need a motion for policy JFAB, admission of non-resident students, administrative rule JFABR, first reading.
So moved.
Second.
So it's been moved in second. Show of hands. Unanimous, okay. Policy AEFEF, school wellness administrative rule, EFEFR, first reading.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Kavanaugh will come once again and explain this policy for us.
I don't have to read this whole thing, do I?
No.
No, certainly not.
For a while. USDA created a new wellness policy model. We felt like the existing policy that we had was more than adequate, but we sent it to the Office of Health and Nutrition, OHN, just to review it and make sure that we were consistent with the policy, and they came back with a few recommendations. So the recommendations are here. Some recommendations we chose not to accept because they're simply recommendations. But on page 2, and this is a change in USDA, we are now allowed to sell whole milk. We're not going to, but we're allowed to, because we feel like this is an administration change, and the next administration is going to change it right back. So we don't want to get our students used to a more expensive product and be in conflict. And then second is the foods with limited added sugars. That's already USDA guidelines. It was just not added to our policy, and no food additives. We researched all of our ingredients for our products when South Carolina was considering this as a new South Carolina law. There are 3 items that we would have to take off our menu, and one of them is Thousand Island dressing. So we're pretty clean label. And then the second thing, major change is on page 2 is they asked us to just clarify that foods that are being provided at schools but not sold, so cupcakes for parents or different things, not fundraisers, but they want us to clarify that foods that are provided but not sold do not need to meet USDA Smart Snack guidelines. Currently, the board requires school fundraisers to meet Smart Snack guidelines, which is good because it should. And then finally, on the last page, or third page rather, we just needed to update that we have one person that's in charge of the wellness policy. We had left that vague. I think when we updated this a few years ago, we just kind of missed that part. And then the rule follows the policy.
So we're not doing fried chicken?
Yes, ma'am, we are doing fried chicken.
Oh, we're doing.
Because
Motion
we're-
to
yeah,
accept
because
the
it's
policy.
technically not sold, it's just served. Except for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that's technically sold, thanks to the board.
Madam Chair,
Thank
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept this policy for first reading.
Second?
Been moved and properly second, do I get a hand? Management.
Thank you.
Policy policy GCQEE1, retiree program, second reading.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Buffer will come and present this policy for us.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Chair, policy GCQE-E1, retirees program, is being presented to the Board of Trustees for the second reading tonight. The proposed revisions align the policy with the current South Carolina retirement system and FEBA requirements for retired employees who return to covered employment. So the first change, a retired member of the system must be retired for at least 30 days before he or she can return to employment with the district. The second change, effective January the 2nd, 2013, retired members who return to covered employment sooner than 30 days after their retirement date will not receive their retirement check while employed. A retired employee must contribute 9% effective July 1st, 2017 of his or her salary to the South Carolina retirement system. And the last change, an employee who retired from the South Carolina retirement system after January the 1st, 2013 and returns to covered employment may be subjected to the earnings limitation. The limitation applies to members who retire before they reach age 62 and then return to covered employment, restricting their earnings to $10,000 per year. The earnings limitation applies regardless of a retiree's age at the time they return to covered employment. At the time a retiree is offered employment by the district, they may contact the benefits office to determine whether they qualify for an exemption to the earnings limitations.
Madam Chair, I make a motion, we approve policy GCQEE1 retirees program on second reading.
Second.
Okay, I have a second, all in favor? You walked out, all in favor, okay, thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Ms. Buffett.
West Side High School Stadium improvement.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. West.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Grant's going to come up and discuss the packet that you were given in email and through the board packet.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly, Madam Chair, members of the board, it's great to be with you tonight. If you've been inside Westside's football stadium, you're probably familiar with what we're talking about tonight, but the home side and the visitor side has no handrail. As you're coming up and down the aisles, there's no handrail. And in order to improve that condition, I guess at the request, I think, of a couple of different board members, we were asked to look at this. So we wanted to present you some budgetary numbers for two different options, and that's what's in your board packet. The first option would be to, in both cases, we're putting the handrail along the aisle on both sides of the stadium. The difference being between option one and option two is option one is a total replacement of the seating, the bleacher seating. Option two, the more economical solution, is basically taking the existing bleachers and trimming them back. And we'll cap them, and all this would be to widen the aisle. We're just a couple inches short of meeting code, which is unfortunate, but it's code requirement. In order to put that handrail up at the middle of the aisle, we have to have 48 inches, and we have 46. So we have to trim those bleachers back to accommodate that. So,
You only have to trim every, one side though, right?
that's true. You could cut one side, you could cut both. But you could, yeah, whichever is the most effective way to do that, we definitely do that. I do wanna mention, these are budgetary numbers. We need you to approve an option if you wanna pursue it, option one or two, but these are budgetary numbers in that if you give us the approval tonight on one of the two options, then we'll take steps with the design team. We didn't wanna spend the money in the design team without knowing what your direction might be. So if we can get some direction tonight, then we can start spending money in design, but the idea would bring back a GMP contract amendment for you guys to consider for a final.
And I think per your conversation, basically, the end result's the same, and these seats do have a shelf life. I wasn't aware of that. So what we have is still,
We have our current bleacher seating inspected every other year out in the football stadiums, and then we see it this way, but we also asked our inspector as well, and he feels like there's ample life on those bleachers. He didn't think they needed to be replaced.
Okay.
Now, there may be some that's deemed up that we need to fix, but not a total replacement.
but the end result will be about the same.
Yes. The idea here too, is there would need to be ADA ramps installed. We would have one on the home side, we would have one on the visitor side, and make a little bit of adjustments for ADA seating on the bottom of each side. This is what the design team in their, I guess, really rough drawing this would require. If you guys give us the approval to pursue option one or option two, then our next step will go to the design team, will go to OSF, and they could say, you know what, you also need to do this. And that might be, to upgrade the emergency lighting in the state. We don't know that they would say that, but those could be some things that they may require to do.
And naturally, if we did that for, Westside, we would re-inspect Hannah's to make sure it's got the equal and same.
Correct. And
for
they have
that side.
handrails now, but we would certainly expect that.
Right. I don't know if they have handicap ramps
That's true.
to the things.
Right.
So just, let's do the same inspection for Hannah and correct any of those problems and have that in our proposal also.
Where would you, I'm curious, the handicap ramps, you meant the lower section, how would that work at the stadium at West Side? Because it's ground level to top and down in a hole. Does that make sense?
Here's a
It is,
sketch of
The sketch showed, it was a preliminary drawing, but in the sketch in the packet.
Okay.
There's a long one on the west side. There's a long ramp right there, and then there's a short ramp right there.
Okay, if it's on, I was just curious more than anything.
This one right here.
That's the idea right now, but as I said, if we get the approval to pursue it tonight, then we would investigate this a lot more.
So we would be approving it not knowing price.
Well,
I mean,
this is what the contractor calls rough order of magnitude. You're approving a budgetary number, they've sought out pricing here for what's scoped out in the drawing and the packet that you have in front of you. What we're saying and what I'm saying is if we actually get into the design and submit this to the Office of Schools and Facilities, they may require us to add some things or adjust some things, and that would come back.
okay.
What you're approving tonight, if we move forward, Mr. Thompson, is the budgetary number for us to move forward. We would come back later with the actual GMP amendment that has the actual pricing for you.
So we would approve it again. This wouldn't be a final. Okay.
And this would fall under our famous South Carolina bathroom bill where we wouldn't have to have any more bathroom space.
I asked the architect that question. He didn't think this would qualify for that. We're not technically
Adding seats, okay.
Do y'all have a recommendation? Or are you willing to offer one? The administration, yeah.
My suggestion is to go with the cutting what we have and
Okay.
handrails, as long as it meets, they've got room for the handrails and the width of the aisle.
That would be my recommendation as well.
I'm gonna make a few comments. I went and walked it down, and I got a few concerns about that option. I'm not saying I'm against that option. There are several bleachers, like you said, that are in disrepair, bent up, bowed up, and then what concerns me are the steel mounts for these bleachers because they're pretty rusted out. So I don't know if you go in there. I don't know what kind of life those have. You would probably know, Mr. Zug, but I would hate to go do this work and then we're replacing mounts and trying to re-drill holes. I don't know what the practicality of that is. And then it's also true that we would have to demolish those steps between the risers, correct? And we'd be going concrete there, or would there be aluminum? Would those be aluminum?
The current plan that's in the rough order of magnitude calls for an aluminum step.
Yeah.
So let's,
Between each riser, down each row, goes concrete step.
okay.
And I'll say this, Mr. Thompson, we do have those bleachers inspected every
Mhm.
year. We identify things that you've seen that needs to be fixed, and we repair those.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you chose to pursue option two, not replacing the new bleachers,
Mm-hmm.
we're widening, but you still have the option, get the life out of the current bleachers that are
Mhm.
there if you chose to, and spend the money on the new bleachers later. It's
Mhm.
still, you're mobilizing the contractor twice. I could see it being an expense in that regard.
Yeah.
But you still have the option to spend that money later.
Any estimate on how old those bleachers are? How long have they been there?
72.
Show you some pictures.
I guess the original bleachers would be my guess.
I'll just
No.
make,
Look.
I'll make two comments.
Look.
Number one, it's an expensive 2 inches.
In between the risers.
My second comment is we just put down
New
new
ones.
turf and new track. So we got
and
a good foundation. I hate to rig something. I'd go with, I mean, I know it's almost twice the cost, but I prefer option one just for that reason. You're gonna have a very updated stadium if you do that.
Those are all
Now, would the
rusted.
seating
And I
be any
didn't-
different, or would they look exactly the same if you went with new ones?
We've not completed the design, so we're certainly open to installing whatever the board may want us to install.
I mean, that's not-
I thought this was a no-brainer. I thought surely option two. I mean, it saves us, it's half of the other cost. And it will pass the inspection, it meets the goal. Why in the world would we want to spend an extra $750,000, more than that, or $800,000? Why?
Well, they're 50 years old or so, right?
And they work, and they're perfect, and we have them inspected every year. I mean, where is the problem that we're spending $800,000 to correct?
Well, I mean, we hadn't agreed to that, Mr. Brown. So we're just having a conversation. I mean,
And I understand that,
If-
but I
if they're-
also know that I have a right to state my opinion.
sure.
too.
Absolutely.
And my opinion is, I think option 2 is a no-brainer.
Well, I thought that Jumbotron was okay, the ones we had too.
They have a shelf life, unfortunately.
My comment was, just do it first class. That's all I'm trying to say. And we're about to have a discussion in just a little while. Are we going to give away $2.5 million or more, to our faculty? And they deserve it, certainly, but put that in perspective. So this, you invest that $1.5 million, and you get another 50 years out of them? Do the math.
Is there,
Nobody's saying we won't get another 50 years out of what we got.
What you think, Mr. Zuck?
Oh, just to clarify, you had mentioned the aluminum riser between the drawing calls for a concrete step. I just want to make sure that,
If you look at, second page, division 12,000. Number 2.
okay,
Next one I was
okay. Because I know the concept drawing specifies a concrete step. 48-inch wide concrete riser. That's all I was looking at.
I see that. I think
And my next question, and I know the code and I researched the code, and it does specify if you make any modifications, you are required to meet ADA or the ANSI 117.
Bless you.
But has there been any discussion to try to get an exception to that rule?
we've not tried that yet.
Because that's an expensive 2 inches. Well, I guess it's 6 inches. No, demo the existing 42-inch concrete riser and install 48-inch. So we need 48 inches, and we have 42.
I will mention this, pointing on Mr. Duke's comment. I think what we got works. I understand what they're saying. However, that extra $800,000 could be better spent on the visitor side with a small press box for visiting coaches and media. Since we added the jumbotrons at both schools, we've lost two rooms in there. So we have coaches climbing up straight up a ladder, a metal ladder at that, with no cage around it, getting on the roof. They're in the weather and things like that. So, and that would solve, it would solve, I'd rather see that money spent to help move coaches over there on the visiting side. It wouldn't have to be that tall because of the elevation of the fields down low. That would be money better spent on that stadium.
And you could probably do both schools.
Yeah,
your way for
and
that $750,000.
I can assure you, I've spent more time in this stadium than me and Brandon in this room added together. But I know that's become an issue, and I always, and it's not that uncommon. Let me back up. When we go to other stadiums, same thing. You climb up. Tell Honey you've got to climb up the roof. I mean, probably on the roof, and it's and most anywhere.
And they're worried about a 48-inch step.
Yeah. Yeah. That would alleviate some of that, I think. I mean, and I don't want to start a building program here, but I would rather see that money spent that way for the bleachers that are really used, a handful of times a year. I mean, and I agree, I understand what Mr. Duke's saying. I can't say I disagree with that, but I just see a better need for that.
Or could I get a motion, to Westside High School Stadium improvement?
Can we find out about what Mr. Zugg said about the 2-inch, getting an exception for the 2 inches?
I would
Well, I think
definitely.
we're just wanting to give him permission to proceed, and then when it gets finalized, we'll come back with all the details. Am I correct?
Right, we'll explore that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the question on the table is option one or option
one,
two?
Option two.
I'll make a motion, we, move forward with option 2.
Which is modify the current, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
You got a second? Is there any discussion?
What do you think, Mr. Zoll?
I think option two, I like what Tommy's talking about. I mean, trying to get these announcers a more secure and safer place to be at instead of on top of a roof climbing a ladder. And I know that's another project and another topic of discussion, but I do think that it would be in our best interest to ask the question if we can get an exception not to widen these concrete steps to get a handrail in there. I know it's a issue with the handicap accessibility, but if you're providing handicap accessibility, ramp and seating, I know every person's not in a wheelchair, but if you provide that, or if they could make an exception, say we could provide you with more handicap seating in this area, and I know they like it dispersed, and we have some up high at the West Side Stadium, and then we're providing some down low. Could you give us some reprieve on having these aisles, the 48 inches, if we had the handrail? I mean, I would definitely pursue it. It would save a lot of money.
I agree. We certainly will.
And considering though, we're gonna run other than the ADA, we're gonna run a handrail down the middle of that aisle. So you are sort of chewing up some of the step, but
But you have something to hold on to, and, you know, they're gonna be intermittent, so they're not gonna be continuous, so people can cross. You're allowed to have so many open areas. I forget, I think it's every 3 risers, you have an opening, and then you'll have another 3 risers, so you can cross over. 8 to 10 feet long. Okay.
But we're just gonna go ahead and approve the stadium improvement, and then you all can talk with him and make sure that these 4 inches to 5 inches and whatever inches it is, because he's gonna come back with something else.
Yes, ma'am.
So we didn't get a second. Could I get,
Can I have one more second of discussion?
go ahead,
Thank you. Never mind, I've answered my own question. Thank you.
baby. Could I get a show of hands to approve the West Side Stadium improvement?
Option two.
Option.
Option two.
Nay. 1 nay.
Can I clarify something in there? Did we include in that, to go ahead and survey the Teohana Stadium to make sure that it,
No.
we did
wasn't
not?
gonna- We talking about West Side,
So
It has
we're not
handrails.
gonna worry about Hannah at all?
not right now.
They have handrails
They have
at
handrails.
hand,
They have in
but you're asking about handicap ramp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
making sure the seats are right.
And I think that would be an independent motion. I wouldn't tie it into this
No,
one.
I can't tie it into that, when we're talking about West Side, we're not talking about Hannah right now.
If you want to make a
Make a
motion.
motion, we look into that, Rick.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we include a survey of the Teohana Stadium to make sure it's compliant with all applicable laws and
I will
regulations.
second that as well.
Okay, it's been moved and second to check into TL Hannah. Could I get a show of hands? Nay.
Man, it's a shame these stadiums were built before anybody thought about handicapped people now we're there, because they're both awful for handicapped people, they really are.
Thank you, Mr. West.
Anderson 5 Education Foundation Board Representative, I'd like to send Sandra Leverett.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's proved that Sandra Leverett will represent 5, Anderson 5 Education Foundation.
Ms. Leverett, I
That'd be for a number of years.
I would like to get a motion and a second and a vote,
I thought
please.
we did.
I did not hear it.
We got a first and a second, but we haven't
Okay,
taken a
Could I get
vote.
a vote on it then? Raise your hand.
Any discussion first?
Any
Any
discussion?
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 I think there was somebody wanting to make a nomination, so how would that work? We'd vote on this motion and then move to another nomination, or would we use a process similar to how we select board chair, or how would that work?
Would it not be simpler, just say it's the board chair? If
I'm
numbers
sorry, I didn't
change, or?
I didn't
I
understand the
have a
question.
question. This all came about when Mr. Newton resigned from it. Why are we not replacing that with another administrator?
Because if you look at the bylaws say the structure of the board of directors will consist of the superintendent of Anderson School District 5, a member appointed by the Anderson School District 5 Board of Trustees. So we don't have someone from the board that currently serves on that.
I was not
And
aware
then
of
that
that.
structure of the board would then determine who would be the executive.
What's online is still showing Mr. Newton, it's got Mr. Bradshaw on it.
And that needs to be updated because
Yeah,
that's
so that's what-
changed.
okay.
Yeah.
So who is on it now?
No one.
I'm talking about
Alright.
totally.
Right now, you have the superintendent of Anderson 5, and then you have Amy, chief financial officer, you have Brooke, which is the chief communications officer, and then you have Kelly Elrod, assistant superintendent for instruction. So once we get someone appointed from this board, then we can look to see.
Okay, hold just a moment.
Don't we have a motion?
So, in the bylaws, it says the structure of the board is the superintendent. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, you're talking back and forth to her, go ahead.
The bylaw structure of the board is the superintendent, a member appointed by the board, chief financial officer, chief communications officer, and assistant superintendent for instruction. Okay, so those five. It also, I do need to ask this question. In the end, it talks about the executive director. Who is that currently?
We don't have one, that's why we need to get this.
Because it does mention a salary. Has a salary ever been paid for an
I don't
executive
think
director?
so.
Okay, I was just,
No, you don't get no salary for nothing.
right. Well, it says it, so I'd like to get that off of there, just in case. And, because you, it's always it's telling me something. It's time to something. It's time to telling me something. So, you sent us, yeah, we got the bylaws, and there's A through H points, various points. I was really surprised, to be honest. I don't know if this is a time to talk about it, but I did not realize the Education Foundation can rent, buy, or sell personal or real property. Is that correct? Has that ever been done?
No.
No? Okay.
Nobody's ever donated property to the foundation.
Right.
We certainly wouldn't want to keep it.
Well, it says including the power to contract, rent or buy, so it's like we could buy it. Not, I know we
I
take
think
it.
that's when just somebody donated
Well,
property.
that's in another area.
On the representative, we're not going to what's going on with whatever else, we're just on the representative.
Okay. I'd like to,
I chose my name, so if somebody wants to do a vote on who you want there, let's do that. We're
I'd
not
like-
gonna discuss it.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Thompson.
I can second that.
So if you have multiple nominations.
Okay, I
what-
nominate Sandra Levy.
Okay, so what you do is, since you said that first, it'll be, you'll start with the first person, and it'll be a vote, and if we get the majority, then that person is elected. If we don't get a majority, then you go on to the next nomination, unless you have some other rules which don't. So, ask if there's any other nominations.
Is
for the
there
two.
any other nomination?
I thought he nominated Mr. Thompson.
He did.
We have two
Is
nominations.
there any
Oh.
more Sandra Levy and Mr. Thompson?
So the first vote, since you voted first, the first vote is on you, and if the majority votes, then you are the person.
First vote is Sandra Levy, and I'm voting for her. Fine. Next vote is.
You don't have-
There's no need for another vote.
You have a majority.
Congratulations.
Whoever will represent you at that vote.
Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Yes, Madam Chair. While we're sort of still on this topic, is there,
We're not.
We're not on that.
We're on the next.
We on the
We're not.
Okay, G, at 155-207 diploma potential.
Yes, ma'am.
Petition.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
have two ladies.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. We have two recent students from Anderson School District 5 that have petitioned for their high school diploma.
Make a motion that we accept these petitions and prove them as presented.
Second.
So it's been proven and second that we will approve these, trying to find the two ladies.
Melissa,
To approve.
Yes, ma'am.
Could I get a show of hands?
Yeah, I have a quick question. What's the superintendent's recommendation?
Yes.
Okay.
Show of hands. Thank you.
If I'm correct, wasn't there a law change or something several years ago that they can, and that's where that comes from, that,
It's Act 155.
yeah, that was, yeah. I remember.
Okay, we did that, now it's time to executive session, number 8. Could I get a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion, we go into executive session for
And come
section
out.
30-4-70A1, discussion of employment, appointment, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, or release of an employee, a student, or a person regulated by a public body. Also, 2026-2027 personnel recommendations and return employee bonus package.
Second.
no objection.
Yeah.
Any objection to going to, executive session?
We have one more section as well.
Well, I have that up, but I didn't know which one.
It's B.
B, section 3-4.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
We got this.
I'm sorry, I didn't go down, I didn't scroll down far enough, yeah.
And all that.
B, section 3470A2, discussion negotiations, incident to propose contractual agreements and the receipt of legal advice regarding contractual building programs. Section A, construction manager at risk services. B, facilities rentals. Also, action items as necessary, section 30-4-70A1. We already have that.
That's after executives.
Y'all got it on here twice.
We'll have to act on those.
Okay, all right.
10 minutes break in executive session.
Can we make it a minute and a half?
5 minutes break.
Time's up.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the personnel recommendations that were presented.
Second.
All in favor of taking the 26-27 personnel recommendations as presented in the executive session, show of hands,
Unanimous.
unanimous.
Just for the record, Troy Hago had to leave.
Thank you, Mr. Zuck.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a recommendation as the Vice Chair of Anderson School District 5 Board of Trustees in complete agreement with all board members that we award all returning employees for this year a $1,500 bonus.
Second.
It is moved in second and all in favor, by raising your hand to give the $1,500 bonus to our school district,
To all full-time employees.
All full-time.
our full-time employees.
And $700 for, $750
For
for
part-time.
part-time. We
Mhm.
need to add that.
$750 for part-time.
Right,
Oh, $750 for part-time.
Yeah,
right,
Can we redo that then, please?
yeah.
yes.
May I withdraw that motion?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'll make a new motion that we pay all returning full-time employees $1,500 bonus and all part-time a $750 bonus for returning employees.
Okay, now can we get a hand? Okay, it's unanimous.
I didn't know if it was second.
You seconded it,
That's what Mr.
Thompson.
Thompson
The Honorable
said.
Mr. Thompson.
The Honorable.
It is moved in favor of, that's it?
Always put
Madam
$10
Chair,
million in a
we
hurry.
make a motion that we adjourn.
You